Did y'all see
Before
the
they're lost
PETA
forever.
commercial?
Did I see the what?
The PETA commercial?
What PETA? The Elden Ring PETA commercial? Oh my god!
There's an-
yeah.
Oh, no.
I saw,
Elden Ring
I saw,
PETA commercial?
I saw
So
Gita
good.
Jackson had retweeted that.
That's so good.
I need to hold on. Elden
Can I
Ring
see this?
PETA.
You just go to
Like-
PETA's Twitter. Not that I would never recommend that on
Nope.
any other occasion, but
Yeah.
like go to PETA's
Like
Twitter.
PETA, like for animals.
Yeah,
PETA.
PETA.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not the bread.
Well, obviously not the bread,
The
Christian.
unleavened
Oh,
tandoori
you mean
bread.
PETA.
Like
It's very funny.
Elden Ring PETA.
It's like oddly well done, but like fuck PETA.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait.
1000% fuck PETA, but you're right. It is kind of funny.
Pick your dogs for a lovely one.
Oh, the top 5 things to do. Okay.
Yeah, the top 5 things to do.
Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Steven.
Stupid.
My favorite was it was it Gita that liked the one that said this is how I learn you can dismount people on horseback?
I think so. Yeah, it was. That's a legitimately good tip. I didn't know that the parents
is.
worked like that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Because I never tried to do that on a horse person. Because the moment there's a horse person, I'm like, I too shall be horse.
But they fucking ended it with go vegan.
This is kind of well done.
This
I
is
hate it.
probably the best thing PETA's ever done. This is the most PETA's ever contributed positively to culture.
Okay, I'm definitely dying over the go vegan on the death screen.
Yeah.
By the way,
Mhm.
have we had any confirmation from Bree? Is that a yes?
For tonight?
Yeah.
Yes, but it is
Okay.
that I don't think she's gonna be playing it for maybe like a month or two.
She's not going to be playing for a month?
I guess so. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
we
the other
did,
game
we're
we have going
starting
either.
later tonight, so I still have the same, like, in time,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Okay.
No
that's,
problem.
That's fine. We just need to finish this score, and then I think that'll probably do it. I just want to finally fucking finish the score.
Me too.
Okay, cool. Are we good? Everybody settled?
Yeah.
Everybody ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Cool. So hello guys. We're back. It's been what, like 2 weeks since the last time that we played? A week, 2 weeks, something like that.
Approximately.
3 maybe.
Let's get re-caught up on what happened last time. I had to, the last episode that we recorded, I uploaded it, and then I had to immediately, like, delete the upload, because I realized that I had left in, like, a whole chunk where, like, everybody left, and it was just me and Christian talking, and then I say, here, wait, I'm gonna go take a piss, and then I walk over to my bathroom, and you can just hear, in the audio, you can just hear, like, a very distant...
Love it.
So you can catch
Amazing.
me peeing in that old delisted video. I'll probably re-upload that whenever this one gets uploaded. But
Incredible.
yeah, let's get caught up on what all is going on, what we did last time during downtime, and then what happened in that first session.
Oh,
So,
I'm digging this dark mode, by the way.
Same.
This is new.
Yeah, yeah. That Roll20 dark mode's pretty nice.
I think this is the game.
It fits pretty well too. David was saying it fits with the cyberpunk
Mhm.
theme.
Oh wait, question.
Mhm.
Is what color is the color of your UI? Like besides the black. In Roll20.
In Roll20, I think it's black and purple.
Okay, so it's black and purple for everyone.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
it's black
cool.
and purple for me as well.
Yep.
Okay.
And sixes are green, and ones are like an orangey kind of red color.
Nice.
It's thematic.
I dig it.
It's
I
thematic.
dig it.
Let's start with Christian. What catches up? What do you remember from the last few sessions? What's important?
So, we are... Our big end goal is we're trying to target a heist in
Your audio is echoing horrifically.
I don't hear any echo.
Really?
Not
I
for me.
fixed it.
There we go.
Nice.
I didn't mute in Discord or in Roll20.
That'll do it.
We are planning a heist in the, oh gosh, what was it called? It was the energy.
The WEH, the Western
Yeah,
Energy
WEH,
Housing.
Western Energy Housing.
which we retroactively also kind of rebuilt as what that area was.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to try to nab some jewels and siphon off some energy while a act of God is striking the city as well. So we're under the cover, under the guise of that. But first we had to meet a informant and get a package and deliver it to someone, to Smiley. Not Smiley, to...
Yeah, it was. I mean,
someone.
you delivered it to his son, but it was for Smiley.
Yeah. It was for Smiley, but we delivered it to his son.
Yeah. Okay. David?
Let's see. Part of what we did for the setup for the score was we, well, at least my character, Ravel, gathered information. She spoke with her contact, the chick at the chop shop, whose name is Shira.
Shira, yeah.
Shira, I went to go see her, and she talked about well, it turned out that through hearsay from her and through I guess maybe from overhearing those what are they called, the orgullosos?
Yeah.
Some kind of some kind of criminal gang in the region that the WEH is housed in. We're going to launch some kind of attack in the central part of the area, which would help be a really good distraction when we move in on the energy warehouse we're targeting. So we can use that to kind of divert their the local security's attention away when we swoop in. We also heard or overheard that maybe the I don't remember what they're called, but the Iron Maidens, or
the Auditor's Iron Maidens.
That they might be involved if things go too far with the local gang war.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I remember. I don't really remember what happened with the other. I think we did a lot of training in downtime.
Yeah.
And somebody else did something.
Yeah. Most people did training. And Jose.
Yeah, no, speaking of training, I know that a majority of what Polygraph was doing was getting rid of a lot of stress that she accrued over trying to get trying to do stuff in the previous session before. But after that, she committed herself to trying to learn how to pilot the long weekend. She hung out with Mannon for a good while the rest of the crew were preparing as well. I think that's. I know that part of the plan that we were sort of setting up for involved exploding something.
That sounds kind of familiar. Let me double check my notes.
I think Ravel was planning on doing some sort of overloading of a power grid, or wanted to blow something up as well. As part of our ingress.
Yeah, was that the general? Was that the detail for the engagement? That's the other thing that no one's kind of gone over. The engagement roll did not go well.
Well, we got a risky, right? We got a risky standard, so we're not desperate.
Yeah,
it's
not quite. Well, it was a 4 on the engagement roll, so it's not the best. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not the best.
Well within parameters.
What was the way that y'all were planning on approaching the score?
I know we're doing stealth, and the detail is way in. Seems to me that way in is we got set up with the we have the long weekend. We got that chip that's going to let us through the restricted airspace.
Yep.
So I figure we're just going to use that to fly in, and maybe I'm not sure if we were really planning to halo jump down there or what specifically we were going to do, but it was going to get us close enough to the warehouse that I think probably the first obstacle would be somewhere around actually penetrating the security, but like the actual penetration of the security was going to put us in a risky spot.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think, I mean, and because what the plane is doing while we're doing the heist is important. I don't think it'd be appropriate for the plane to be like for us to land and then have the plane be on the ground until we're ready to go.
No,
I
it's
think
gonna have to. Yeah.
yeah, I think
I
what
think
would be most appropriate would be not a halo, not high altitude, low opening, but just a normal drop. And then at the very end, maybe then the plane can come in for a quick landing, load up, and then we fly out. Like the kind of landing where it like doesn't stop, just slows down. You know what I mean?
if we have the room for it, we could also, if we had to, we could have like a plan B. I mean, this is a lot of planning right now, but like in my head, the other plan B was we get a vehicle and we get away out of the hot zone.
That is not a bad idea. The only risky thing is I think the Orgullosos have a bunch of bikers.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
a gang.
Yeah,
We'll just have to,
Yeah.
we'll improv around that. We can
Yeah.
flash back a bunch to like,
Yeah, we'll play it by the seat of the pants. All right, are we good to get
yeah.
started then?
Okay.
Yeah. So what's our first scene?
Okay. So we open up the episode on kind of an aerial shot of the WEH at night as the act of God is rolling in. It's a massive tropical storm, super super fast winds. The rain is pouring down almost like horizontally across the camera. We can see kind of in silhouette and kind of lit up by the occasional flash of gunfire and like the occasional lightning strike. We can see the silhouettes of the tops of the energy housings in the WEH, sort of like these giant kind of cylindrical kind of like black metal structures. But we can hear, kind of as we hold over the shot, the sounds of screaming, the sounds of gunfire rattling off in the distance, and we kind of hold on that shot for a while as we see kind of like emerging out of the darkness through the storm up in the clouds, kind of the bulky silhouette of the long weekend kind of emerge from the distance. We cut to the interior of the actual ship. We see kind of like we're in kind of the the cockpit of the long weekend. It's kind of illuminated by this very stark red light from inside of the cockpit. Everyone's sort of bathed in this light, and we see the three of you. Manon is behind the he's behind the wheel of the ship. What are the three of you doing? Kind of looking down from the what's that called? The windshield of the long weekend. We can see kind of directly ahead is the top of one of the cylindrical energy housing structures. Now that we're a little bit closer, we can see that it's got like kind of like a pulsating kind of like electrical kind of like ring that will like start at the base of the building, kind of far below, maybe about like 100 feet or so, and then kind of like surge up the top of the building in sort of like a rhythmic kind of pulse as it's drawing and storing energy inside of the batteries that are located within. Kind of looking down from where the three of y'all are at inside of the cockpit, you can see kind of all around you, although it is quite far below, kind of lit up by the occasional flash of a muzzle, various different people running around. You might see the occasional cycle kind of tear through the streets in between the actual energy housings. And then in and amidst that, you might hear like the occasional like sound of a like one of the cannons on the Iron Maidens going off, and that will like just set off a giant explosion where it's torn through some of the Orgullosa's forces. And then you can also like see their sort of like arachnoid kind of silhouettes as they will like scamper over the ground and then disappear into the darkness. So what do you do?
Oh, I want real quick, Teddy. We probably need to pick our load for this op. I'm gonna go heavy on this one.
Okay.
I don't see why I shouldn't go heavy either. What are the penalties for going? What's the downside for going heavy? You're just very conspicuous, yeah.
Yes.
I think
you're
so.
just very conspicuous. Let me
I don't think it'll be a concern on this one.
Mhm.
Well, are we close to the mission objective?
Yes. I mean, the objective is right in front of you. It is this, you could break into any one of these, like, these energy housings, these, like, giant cylinders that store up this energy and have all of the Joule batteries inside of them. They're, like, dotted over the landscape of the WEH. You could hit any one of them, right?
Why don't we start at one we've already chosen before the mission actually happens? Like, let's get right into the first bit of the action. Like,
Well,
what stops us from accomplishing it?
I feel like I should mention as a point, we all have exosuits available.
Mhm.
By the way, Melissa's peeking behind me, just as a...
Oh,
is that who that is?
Oh, I didn't see anyone there. Oh.
She's being very inconspicuous there.
Yeah, she's super inconspicuous. So...
She rolled a sneak, or what is it, ghost? She passed.
Oh,
there she goes.
I think the thing is too, David. Y'all have already picked like which one it is. The one that we see that is directly in front of y'all. That's the one that has been decided upon is the one that you're going to break into. Right? There's many of these, but this is the one.
But this one is mine.
Right.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Okay.
There's sort of looking down from the cockpit, kind of once again, you can see that there's quite a number of the Iron Maidens kind of scampering around the base of this thing. Where we're at right now, it's all like pretty desolate, right? It's just sort of like very like, stark paved streets that kind of cut in between these things. There's hundreds of them, right? And they sort of all kind of like are spread across this part of the city, but yeah, there's quite a few Iron Maidens, kind of like scampering and moving around on the ground below where you're at,
right in front of our objective.
The fighting is happening around the objective.
Okay.
Luckily, we can fly in and halo drop it to the top.
We could go in from the roof. I think that's probably going to need to be what we maybe arranged.
As of now, nobody's really detected the long weekend up ahead. Manon, behind the controls, turns back around and says, "Okay, I think this is about as far as I can get us. Listen, you're going to want to make the drop soon, because I don't know how much longer I can stay in this airspace without those things downstairs, taking a look up."
All right. No, sorry, wrong voice.
Get in character.
Okay, Manon, that's completely fine. We'll get the back door open, and you just try and stay low and out of radar until we are done and we need you, okay?
Okay, no problem. Do you want me to circle around here? I'd say maybe you got 20 minutes tops.
20 minutes tops? That's what we got. All right. Stay safe,
Let's
man.
fucking do this!
Fly us low.
Grab the duffel bag and start moving into the back.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. So
gets out of the co-pilot's seat and moves behind everyone.
So what's the move then?
I think we get it to fly right over the warehouse and do as Cornfield suggested and just fucking skydive right out of there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Manon inches the long weekend a little bit further, kind of directly sitting right on top of the energy housing. As he moves the ship, yes?
Can I make a suggestion of how we deploy? Just kind of looping in how we eventually get back.
Yeah.
Can it basically be that imagine like it's like a crate that we all like kind of hold on to, like it just has like 4 things where we stand on, and it's basically a standing platform that has a parachute on that gets shoved out the back that we have to sit on, because then it lands, because then guess how we then get out is that parachute closes into a balloon, and then eventually it then gets sent up, and that way we can get Fulton out at the end.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a Fulton recovery
It's a Fulton,
device.
but it acts as a also parachute coming in, and just then once we're ready, we then have to prime it to like send it back up
to recover. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I fucking love that. Okay, that can definitely be the thing.
And when the balloon goes up, it sends like a very steady, like a little pulse of light, so that the pilot can see. There it is, and then scoop us.
I don't know why I'm thinking of specifically the back of a warthog, like the cargo transport, like something just wireframe like that, like something. It might have like a seat, but it's mainly just meant for us to like hold on.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the platform is
Put a
just
foot
big
in.
enough for 4 people to stand on.
And maybe has like a potential cargo, like we can slide something in, like a
hook something on.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So we see, we cut to the 3 of you in the cargo bay of the long weekend. The hatch in the back slowly kind of creaks to an open. It's very like quiet rumbling inside of the cargo bay, but then as it becomes fully open, like the whole like sound and fury of the act of God that's rolling through, kind of like comes into the audio mix.
But
that y'all,
because we're all wearing helmets, all you hear is just us breathing. Like everything else is muted, but it's just.
Okay, fuck yeah, I like that.
My drone, like it's clinging onto like my front body, kind of like a koala.
Okay.
But it's got like a couple of like it's got I think for this run it's gonna be a shotgun strapped up onto the top.
Okay, fuck yeah, it's like a Joey.
Yeah, it's like a Joey.
Yeah,
Mama
cool.
Kangaroo's pouch.
Everybody's got all their sweet gear on. That device that y'all kind of like parachute down on is sort of like attached to the ceiling and is like on a rail that will like slowly like come out laterally across the cargo hold. Everybody kind of gets onto the thing. I imagine there's probably like, you know, one of those you have to like kind of like hook into it and like secure like a bunch of safety straps and stuff. And then it just starts like careening out the back of the cargo bay and then drops you. So,
Sweet.
Let's make sure. I'd imagine that this is something that you would have to sort of like lightly pilot in order to kind of get it to land in the right place. You're more or less directly above the energy housing. Manon couldn't pull the long weekend directly above it. As sort of the electrical current kind of pulses up from the base of the building and out the top, it kind of discharges directly out of the top of the building and sort of like sends like a weird like rumbling current that like causes some turbulence on the ship. So we couldn't move the long weekend directly on top of it. It's probably safe to land on it yourselves with your exosuits. But you'd have to sort of like guide the, guide the thing to where you want it to go. So
we need to think of a term for that. By the way,
we need to come up with a term for this thing.
So
who's gonna do that and how? That's sort of the first pressing matter, right? You're now beginning to plummet. It's probably about like 150 or so feet till you hit the top of this thing. Kind of looking down, it seems, at least from this distance, mostly sheer all around. So how do you make sure that you land?
Did we do an engagement roll?
Yes, we did. It's risky. It's risky standard right now.
Oh, that's right. We did it at the end of last session, right? I was like, I forgot.
I don't feel like I have the skills to do this very well. Does somebody else got something that they feel like could apply? I feel like Vanessa or Ghost are probably the best things for this.
And remind me if I'm doing this. Would control work?
Actually, I think you're right. Control would be better. I think
I have 2 in control.
Sweet.
Control sounds like it would probably be the best bet. You're also the one that's training to pilot the ship too, right? So that also kind of makes sense that you would be good at piloting this thing.
It could be kind of using the parachute, like adjusting some of the tension on some of it so it angles slightly to like pull us in a direction rather than
exactly. And you're also like navigating this thing through an act. I mean, if minor, act of God, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
So this is an action roll, right?
Yes, this is an action roll. It's risky standard. So
risky. The effect is standard. Yep. Any bonus die?
Not unless anybody. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has a way that they can help.
I probably could, but I kind of want to conserve my stress.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah. We're starting here. I'm gonna try this out.
Nice. Partial.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a partial.
Okay. So we see how do we see you land this thing, Polly, and where would you like to land it?
So I think yes, Polly is sort of like as close to the center of this thing as possible. She's kind of like has her like legs around it, and her arms are up, sort of grabbing two handles that are attached to like the parachute portion, and she is sort of maneuvering, leaning sort of left and right with her arms to sort of guide parachute style, not to the very top, but as close to the middle as possible. Like not the very center, but off center, to try and avoid that big pulse, but still try and land on something stable.
Okay. So as we see you navigate this craft to land towards the sort of like the center of the roof of this thing, or sort of the top of it, the winds are vicious. The parachute is sort of like cutting the parachute, every which way. We see like one of the sort of straps that's holding the chute to the rest of the craft just completely break off of the chute, and you have to like struggle to like navigate it like safely as you're now plummeting even faster now that the chute is slightly broken. You hit the top of the building, and the bottom of like the platform that you're all standing off breaks off of the chute.
Ah.
Are we falling?
No, this is as you hit the top of this thing.
Okay.
Oh.
So
we made it down successfully, but we now need to probably fix it before we can use it safely.
So you land and you have sort of like the chute and sort of some of the rest of the mechanics that make up this thing, but there's no platform where you can stand on at the bottom.
Gotcha. Would it be hypothetical? Would it be enough for us to just strap into it and just let it carry us?
Potentially, but it would be pretty dangerous to do so.
We would probably have to roll to.
Okay, I just want to have that as like a backup.
Could I repair it?
You could, but it would take a considerable amount of time, considering the active god that is moving through the area.
I imagine that's a conversation.
Was a full success, just not a critical. No, a 6 is a full success. 2 6s is a critical.
The moment that we land, Polly's gonna like activate her watch. 20 minutes, starting down 1959, 1958. We're going.
Okay, yeah. So what does everybody do? You're sort of now standing on top of this thing. The exosuits are insulated in such a way that can kind of keep you safe from sort of like the latent electricity that's sort of like pulsating out of the top of this building. And like I said, it's kind of difficult to keep your footing on this thing. You'd have to move carefully. It's not exactly completely flat at the top. It's slightly curved. It's slick with rain. The winds, are like 60, 65 mile an hour winds that are like ripping through this place. From where you're standing, it's around maybe like, I don't know, like maybe like 25 feet across. Kind of below you, you can hear even more sounds. It looks like more fighting has broken out between Los Orgullosos and the auditors. Occasionally, maybe as you land and everybody's sort of like setting their watches and synchronizing and everything, there's kind of a sound from off screen, just sort of like another that like lightly shakes the building that you're standing on. There's more sounds of screaming. What do you do? You're now on top of this thing.
There's not a clear there's not like a rooftop access, right?
Looking around, that's a good question.
Because if there's not,
is there a hatch,
I can make us
a service hatch or something?
I feel like I could make us a way in.
While they're doing that, Polygraph is going to work on trying to secure the extraction device so that it doesn't get blown away while we're gone. Just pin it to something.
And Teddy, on that note,
Mm-hmm.
how when the idea for extracting these jewels, is this like a big crate that we need to take out, or is it more like is it something we can carry with just us, or
It's
something?
It's something that you could carry. I mean, it kind of depends, right? Because the jewels are held in sort of like these little pods. You know, they're probably not exactly handheld, but slightly bigger than that.
Okay.
You
So
know,
we're not
the
moving like
one
a
that
cargo
Cortana stored
container.
in like Halo 3 or 4.
Oh,
like-
okay.
Or no, in Reach. Is it Reach? Yeah, it's Reach.
Yeah, 'cause that would
The
make sense
AI
for Reach.
containment thing. It's like a cylinder about like yay big, but like there's a center
Oh,
glowing core.
I'm thinking more of, and I think it looks exactly like this, like the
Thing
thing
from
that you
Doom?
no, the thing that you hold God, what's it called? The thing that you use to collect all the fucking little shit in Death Stranding.
Yeah, the little
You know what I'm talking about. You know
One
what
of
I'm
Star
talking
Wars.
about. You know what I'm talking about. It's the thing that you use to
the chiral crystals.
Yes, the
thingy.
chiral crystals. Yes, the chiral crystal
I need
collector.
someone to send me an image of this because I unfortunately have
Thank
not played.
Yeah, I
this.
gotta look that up.
Unfortunately, I've played too much of that game.
Chiral
Unfortunately.
crystals.
Um,
What does that look like?
I was thinking of Camp Tono, like from Star
It's like
Wars,
a
but
thing
that.
Oh, okay.
This-
Yeah.
Let me see
Yeah,
what it.
gotcha.
This,
Okay.
this
So you could
looks
carry,
like.
you could probably carry a few with you in a bag if you wanted to take. I mean, but there's probably, there's thousands of these things stored
Okay.
inside of this building.
Well, then big duffel bag. Big duffel bag. That's what it's
Okay.
for, right?
Fuck yeah! I mean, this is basically a bank heist.
This is basically a bank heist. So big duffel bag, masks. I imagine. Do we have our masks painted? This is a tangent, but we have our masks painted, right? Like we look done up on the
No,
outside.
these are like face plates. These are like helmets that you put on. And it's got like a glass face covering so that you can breathe in low orbit.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
is it
But we
painted
never
in
go
front of
that
it,
high.
kind of like a meal
think it's
from
painted.
Halo Reach?
Yeah.
You do what you want to yours.
I'm definitely. I'll have to think about what it looks like specifically, but it's definitely
Yeah.
decorated.
Yeah, you've done some
but so-
customization work.
So with that in mind, rooftop access or no? If we don't have rooftop access, then I think I might blow a hole in the rooftop, which will probably attract attention, but who knows?
Let me see. I think in either case, let me roll a. Is Die of Fate something in this game, or am I thinking of something else?
I think you're thinking of burning wheel, but fortune rolls are a thing.
Fortune roll. That's what it is. I
So
was
you
thinking of
can
burning wheel.
roll. There's a specific mechanic I think to kind of determine like, oh, the fortune roll might mean this or that. Let me check the index. So how you can kind of, because I'm not sure like how a partial would work there. So let's see, fortune roll.
It's typically just like levels of success, but there's not consequence. Is like
Right.
some of the main defining thing on future fortune rolls.
See page 34.
Trying to search this PDF is kind of a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah. It's more like for like when an outcome is uncertain. No, but I feel like
I think it's uncertain whether or not there would be an access hatch on the roof of the building or along the sides of the building.
okay. Maybe you
Like
could
a
roll
vent.
based on quality. You could roll based on the quality of the building, or maybe our quality, which
Could I
is
make an
0.
argument as to why there would be?
On the roof of the building?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, I'll hear it.
Okay, so by the description of this build, of this dome-like structure, there's a lot of energy.
It's not a dome. It's like a cylinder. It's like
Cylinder,
a,
sorry,
yeah, yeah,
cylinder-like structure.
Mhm.
By admission, even though it is slightly curved at the top, the cylinder-like, there's a lot of energy dispersion that comes out through the top of the building. So I would imagine there would be maintenance hatches for people to go up there and check on the devices that are allowing the dispersion to happen.
But in that same argument, if the dispersion's all about the cone, the slightly rounded part, would they have a hatch there or on the side? Or they have to climb up and replace panels?
Either way, if it was on the side or not, there would be a way to get down to the hatch on the side. We just need to find it.
This is a good point. Okay, that solidifies it in my brain. Okay, so
Unless it's one of those dang electrical towers that have the holes for the pegs, but you got to bring your own pegs.
Yeah, you gotta bring your own pegs. Okay, so there's no hatch on the roof, However, looking down along the sides, there do seem to be sort of like indentations along the sides that are like slightly ajar, but not quite. If you take a moment to sort of look at them, it looks like they're opening like very, very slowly. But there's multiple of these kind of lining sort of like, the walls of this thing. That could be one potential way to get in. Obviously, there's a front door, like, 100 feet below you. So you could always try the front door.
How much rope we got?
Yeah, how much rope you got? Just waltz on in. How do we want to go about this? You could always blow your way in. These sort of openings that are opening along the sides of this thing, right now they're fairly shut, but it seems like they're sort of motorized and they're opening very slowly, right? They're maybe, like, big enough to shove your torso through.
I'm gonna guess these things, as it charges up, fill out, and then it goes, and then it fires the bolt up or whatever.
I can fix that. If you get me close to it, actually, I probably would speak through the radio. If you can get me close to it, I'll fuck them up.
You gonna try to break one open?
Yeah. Is it gonna be tough just getting there?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough just getting there because there are no supports along the exterior of this building, right? It's totally smooth. It's sort of like maybe like, we can see like the three of y'all looking over the side of this thing, kind of taking a look at this. The sides of the building are kind of like that. I don't know why I'm thinking of like the Metal Gear Solid 2, like title screen where it has like those like cell like things that are sort of like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the cyberpunk like cell thing. That's sort of like
the hexagons.
Yeah.
I know, definitely.
I'm just imagining like a rain slick curved surface like Camino.
Oh, that's too.
Camino's a good
episode 2, the battle between Boba and Obi.
Yeah. Camino's also a pretty good touchstone. Okay, so what are y'all gonna do? There's kind of no real safe way to get down to one of these things. You could, it's possible, but how are you gonna do it?
We can have equipment, right? We can just decide when we need it.
Let's see.
I know we briefly talked about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I went with normal again. By the way, I just don't think I ever said it.
I went heavy. I think.
I also went heavy.
Let's see. I think infiltration gear would probably cover something to like get across the roof. But the more I think about it, the more I think my character just wants to blow the top off, just to make things easier. She's like pretty direct that way. But we can have both options. So.
Yeah, I think I'll have Polly try and climb down the side.
Okay, I'm gonna rig up
into the side hatch.
That's probably a good idea to come in from two angles anyway. So Ravel is gonna start setting up using her fine demolition tools. So I'll take that. That takes up 2 slots in my items.
Okay.
She is going to rig up some homemade IED charges up on the roof, enough to probably blow like a 10-foot square, give or take, hole in the roof.
Okay. What's the intent in blowing the hole in the roof? Just to get access?
Just to get access, give us a way in and out.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
I'm gonna wreck the roof to get past past it.
Okay. Let's see how you wreck the roof.
Okay. Let's see. I think I'm gonna push myself on this one because I really only got the 1 in rec, and I really want this to work. What are we looking at for what do you call it for?
We're still risky. And I think effect. You're coming pretty prepared. I'd say effect is standard. You could probably blow a hole through this thing and get what you want.
Okay, cool. And then fine tools. Let's see how those push me over. Let's see.
Yeah, the fine tools could definitely bump up the effect a great.
Okay, cool. So we'll call that effect a +1 effect level. So this would be okay. So great, very good. Then I guess I'll go ahead and roll. How do I roll off the skill?
The very top of the page on your playbook, it'll say, "What roll is this?" The drop down.
Okay, and then I pick action.
Pick action. Then you follow it through.
Cool. I'm trying to decide if I want to push myself on this one. I've only got the one die. Let's see what my options are. Plus 1d to any roll. 2 stress. Yeah, I'm gonna push myself on this one, so I'll take the 2 stress.
Okay.
You can also,
Mhm.
we can also always ask for a ripple,
Yeah, you could.
Which
If anybody has a ripple to pose.
just as a reminder, because it's
Would you like to? I would like a reminder on what a ripple is.
So a
ripple-
ripple, you can basically offer someone, what is it, like plus 1d. If they accept a ripple, the ripple will happen whether or not they succeed or fail the roll. And the ripple is basically like kind of any sort of, I mean, generally negative fallout from you know, what is about to happen, right? So a ripple in this situation could be that, like, you know, the Iron Maidens down below take, like, maybe like the fighting dies down for a second while the explosion goes off, and the Iron Maidens are alerted. So you've got pretty good access, but
I think what would be more interesting than the Iron Maidens is like that maybe the act of God reacts somehow. Like there's some kind of like it makes the air around the top of the roof more dangerous. Like it kind of like creates some kind of like it's like random static discharges coming off the tower by compromising the warehouse's like structural integrity.
Oh, okay, I actually really like that.
The big thing of the ripples is like no matter what they're gonna take fight. Like it's saying, hey, we're gonna put this forward. This will happen as that's a conflict or a negative thing, and we'll get the die.
Yeah. Can you pose your own ripple? Because I really like that.
Oh, yeah,
I was gonna pose.
You could definitely
pose
your
something like that anyway.
Like one of the examples is, hey, can I take plus 1d here to ghost and activating this as I round a corner? Because maybe someone sees my face, so maybe I take heat for it instead, or like.
Okay.
While
I
doing
actually
it.
really fucking like that. I like the idea of the act of God being agitated by, you know, by that.
I will do /roll 2d6. Oh no, wait! I can just do. Oh, I see. I can just do. I can add bonus dice. Neat. So let's do wreck, and this is a risky, and this is great effect, right?
Okay. Just so we're aware, the act of God, kind of being agitated by this is going to bump us up from risky to desperate for anything that occurs outside, like in the actual element of the act of God.
That's called XP, baby.
Let's go! That's the fucking cycle.
Remember, if you roll on a desperate, make a note of it.
Is this game designed? Someone think about this?
What?
Someone actually considered. Okay, here we go.
Partial?
That's partial. All right, I'll take it.
That's partial.
So what happens?
Okay, cool. So you tell me what we see is we see Ravel set up these explosives, and as the explosive goes off, and then I'll tell you how everything else reacts.
Okay, cool. I've been watching a lot of Arcane, so I kind of imagine that like her bombs are a bit Jinx inspired. They're not quite as like kitschy, but they're a little more like personalized. And she's she has like a green and black with silver accents kind of aesthetic to her to the painting on her charges. You got 4 of them set up somewhat evenly. She steps back.
Not evilly. It's not arcane.
Not evil. Not quite evilly. She steps back and like kind of like lifts her head over and says, "Here we go, baby." Then the charges. I assume it tears right through the whatever steel equivalent this.
Is it all at
of.
once or one by one?
Let's see. It kind of goes. It's definitely like a.
Yeah.
Kind of explosion. Yeah. Imagine like it steams from with the rain coming down and like it instantly blows it away, but there's a ton of steam that comes off of it. Just torn, shredded metal, super sharp coming from the sides of it. But yeah, she kind of radios in. We got our way in, baby.
Sounds good. Listen, you 3 just be careful because it's looking like this thing is. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to divert. And it cuts out. A bolt of lightning hits the roof and sort of dissipates down the side of the building. The winds sort of stop for a moment, and then they begin in like even more tremendous force. The wind speed has increased like maybe 30 miles per hour. It's very, very difficult to maintain like any kind of like standing footing. You're probably going to like everybody's probably going to have to be like crouched or like almost prone on the roof of this thing to like not get blown away by the winds. The rain has increased to such a degree that you can barely see like, you know, maybe further than 10 feet in front of you. It's roaring. It's impossible to hear anything outside and around you. However, the sudden like uptick of the storm, kind of, you know, this sort of proceeded from the actual explosion that set all of this off. And you can hear down below you the sounds of many sort of like approaching sort of like metal, like sort of like the sound of like metal on metal, kind of like clanking its way towards, you know, this structure.
Is that the maidens? Do they react to it too?
Probably.
Oh shit. Well,
what do you do? Sort of looking down from where you tore a hole. Do you take a look? I mean, I imagine Ravel, you take a look down, right?
Yep.
Okay. The hole that you've torn is big enough to sort of like see down into the main structure of this thing. Sort of like all of the walls on the inside are covered with sort of like a steel lattice. And then on that lattice are just sort of like rows and rows of, you know, the pods that hold all of the jewels. The center core of the building is sort of like, you know, a column that rises almost to the very top. And this thing is sort of like pulsing with energy. There's sort of like a structure at the bottom that has like all of these tubes that are running like down into the floor that are probably, you know, this is where the energy is getting pulled up into, and then this thing is distributing the energy to all of the jewels that are sort of like lining the walls of this place. But down on the floor are... how many? Okay. So, down on the floor of this place is sort of alone. There's sort of like there's a guy down on the floor looking up in horror. He's dressed in sort of like all blue fatigues. He's quite a bit older. He's maybe like about middle-aged. He's, you know, he's kind of portly. He has like a very thick black mustache. And he's looking up at you like eyes wide. He's got like these very thick rimmed, glasses, that are sort of like sliding down the bridge of his nose. He looks up and says, "Oh God, and then starts to go and run."
I got this. Is it possible to drop down from the hole?
I mean, it's about like, you know, it's about 100 feet down to the bottom.
Ooh.
That makes it cooler.
But I can, oh no.
There is an item that's, what is it? Unless I'm remembering from another thing, but it was like a thing that allows you to take big drops.
I can't remember what that would be. You could argue infiltration gear. That's like general load. You could maybe be like you rappel down. You know.
Yeah, it's like that's a part of a set of infiltration gear, I'd
imagine. Should I rappel all the way down?
Or, hey, just to offer you an idea here, Polly, you could flash back and say that you actually like have something set up with this guy. Like, you could flash back and be like, you already have this set up and he's only just chickening out. Something like that.
Yeah, you can always do distress for a flashback. You just get to really frame any scene, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and the GM rules how much the stress cost is based off of how complicated or potentially absurd it is. Okay. Zero stress flashbacks are possible, but they have to be like, you know, really
very
like,
simple.
Okay, in which case I would like to I'll frame a flashback scene.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Okay, so we knew which of the complexes we were going to hit, this one in particular, right? And so the minimal amount of guesswork of work that needed to be done is who's going to be working that thing, and it's as simple as finding out who they are, and then maybe paying them a visit, saying, "Hey, actually, is it possible to use an item for a flashback?"
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. I know exactly what I'm using. It's an item from my playbook. A fine cover identity.
Okay.
Ooh.
As a corporate agent, not a glitch, right? I'm not presenting myself as a glitch. I'm presenting myself as a true professional, as someone, hey, this is Black Ops. Like, something's gonna happen, something's gonna go down, and some jewels are gonna go missing. So if you want to grab one on your way out, no one might bat an eye. Just make sure those thick rim glasses of yours fall off and stay off. You know what I mean?
We are being to him what the act of God is being to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Opportunity.
Okay. All right. So this guy took you up on this opportunity?
This is called the trickle-down plan.
Yeah. Hey, everyone gets a piece of the pie. You just got to let us get the pie.
Okay.
If you want your piece too.
Okay. All right.
So like basically the plan is the promise is, look, whatever you want to grab on your way out, that's up to you, Doug.
Okay, and he took you up on that on fear of what? Like, what leverage do you have on this guy to like just get him to do this?
Can it just be let me see. What would be
Make up something about what this guy, like some kind of like blackmail on this guy.
Oh,
yeah, just make up the blackmail.
Yeah, blackmail could be something totally that works. He, is not exactly a faithful guy, and so some blackmail is not necessarily a difficult thing to pull up, especially with my contacts.
Okay.
So say, hey, I've got ears all over the place. We're big people. And so we're giving you a chance to, walk away from this a happy camper.
Okay. All right. That's going to be, I'd say that's a 1 stress flashback.
I was what I'm claiming to be.
So this guy's basically, as soon as he sees y'all come in, he's just gonna peace out of there. He's not gonna set off
He
any
sees
alarms.
3 people in black exosuits, heavily. He just, okay, yeah, that's my cue.
Okay, all right. He do you rappel down to him, Polly?
I will do so.
Okay. So we see you rappel down past all of these stored jewels. Mounted on the walls of this thing. You hit the ground right in front of him. He's sort of like trembling. He pushes his glasses back up, gives you a kind of a wide-eyed look. And
the very first thing I do is I'll just reach over and just push the glasses back down to the bridge of his nose so that he can't really see. And then I just put a finger to where my mouth would be on the helmet.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be less heat accrued from all of this.
And we have all rappelled down, or at least, I don't want to speak for Cornfield, but at least for me, can I have rappelled down on the same infiltration gear line? That way we don't have to, I don't want to bust another load on my own rappelling thing.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Was that my gears? Is that the one I check off as well for that?
If you don't mind, I had to bust 2 of my 6 on those demolition tools.
I've already used.
Stop talking about busting a load.
My fine cover identity.
Can
that cover be consistent?
No.
Can I not necessarily for this, but can I just have that my fine cover identity as a corporate agent of insert other corporate agency?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's totally fine.
From Generic Corp.
Generic Corp.
Whatever the alphabet soup version is of a corporate bureaucracy, it's probably that.
Yeah. We've yet to feature some real corporations on screen, so they're all kind of vague at the moment. But yeah, that's fine for now.
The Walmart Corporation.
Ah, yeah.
They're arms dealers now.
The fucking Waltons are running the world. Yeah, okay, yeah, so this guy with his sort of glasses pushed down, he kind of scampers over to one of the walls, grabs 2 jewels, stuffs them in his pocket, sort of takes them off of their harnesses on the walls, or sort of a chunk, chunk, as he takes them out, kind of puts them inside of his fatigues, and then starts scampering out of the building. There's sort of like a very thick, like sliding set of metal doors. He goes over, punches in the code. They open, and then he like runs off into the night. The doors close behind him. As they're opened, you can hear the sound of the approaching Iron Maidens. But besides that, what do? You still got some time here.
Okay. I think someone should post up by the door, keep a watch, while
I'll send my drone to do it.
Yeah, and then we start loading up. I think we should start loading up from where he took the two, so that his tracks are clear.
Makes sense. Let's do
that.
Does
anybody want to check their watch?
I will check my watch. I'll check my chrono.
No.
My chronometer.
Okay. We're sitting at 10 minutes.
Okay.
By the way, I chose to not rappel down so that I can pull people back up.
Okay, so
cool.
two of us.
You're staying up at the top? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I understand there's risk with being up there.
Yep. Anything that you are gonna want to do other than just sort of lying prone against the side of this building, with the slightly sticky fingers of your exosuit, because I imagine it's probably got
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, you're cutting out, Teddy. Nope, you're back now. You went all robot-y.
There we go. I lost everyone for a second.
I was gonna say you could try fixing the platform on the thing.
That's what I'm thinking of. I just don't know if I have the skills for that.
Okay. Whatever you want to do. At the moment, right now, the two of you down below, we've got 10 minutes left. But the sound of the approaching Iron Maidens is getting pretty close. So what do you want to do?
Drone hops off my Joey pouch and skitters over to the door and posts up as our sentry. I lock eyes with you, Polly, or through the mask.
Yeah.
And then I think I nod at you and we start. I take off the extra duffel bag that I have to load up the jewels and just start
we unfurl the empty duffel bag so that it will not be empty anymore.
Mm-hmm. And we start loading up the score
as quickly as possible, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we spend the next few minutes doing that, and I keep half an eye on my readout.
Can I roll a finesse to do it either quickly or with minimal trace?
It's gonna be okay. So, that's a good question. I think it's gonna be one tick of the clock anyway for y'all to get all this stuff in. For each tick of the clock, let's call that a certain amount of jewels, right?
What's the clock called? What kind of clock is it?
The clock is it's time before the discharge of all of the jewels inside of this thing to the city, right? To keep all of the defenses against the act of God.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't realize there was a timer on the energy, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's what the timer's for. We had talked yesterday about the reason that this is a good time to hit is because all of the jewels get discharged to the corporations during an event, during an act of God. So if you want to go in and make the maximum score, they're the most saturated pre an act of God.
I see. Okay, yeah. Makes a ton of sense.
So
it's like hitting the register right before closing.
And we just boosted the act of God by accident.
We did.
By accident.
It's
completely unintentional.
It's like nutting right before December.
Nutting right before December?
Yeah. It's no nut.
Nutting? You're nutting right before December?
Yeah. At the end of No Nut
November.
At the end of No Nut November.
Yeah.
Clearly,
but I guess that wouldn't be right before December. It would be right on December.
Yeah,
isn't it called? No, I'm not gonna say that. That's profane.
It's
I'm not gonna say that.
It's profane.
It's Destroy Dick December. No.
Destroy
Dick
December.
That.
It is.
I hadn't heard that
one. No Nut November. It's Destroy Dick December.
I like that one.
That's a classic. I like that one. It's a good one.
Let's see. How many jewels do I want to count per tick of the clock? Let's take a look here.
Would it really affect how much we get paid out, though, at the end?
Yeah, because it's
sure.
however many jewels you want to take out of this place is you know,
Okay.
you'd want
Let
to
me
take
check.
out. You'd want to take out more. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
Smiley's gonna take a cut either way. Um, but you know, the more you can take
Cool.
in, the better.
For sure.
Let's
So are
say
we getting guaranteed? Because I remember this is like a 8 joule score, give or take, right? So are we talking we could get more than 8 joules, or are we getting
so.
minimum 8?
So okay, so it's about an 8 joule score, sort of like as
Mm-hmm.
an average. But for
Mm-hmm.
each tick of the clock from here, we'll call it 4 joules.
Okay. Makes sense. So we're looking at potential. This is a 4 o'clock, so it's potentially 16.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
That
So
is candy, baby. All right.
so Polly, if you want to try and finesse some joules faster, we'll call that 6 joules if you succeed, right? Per
Okay.
that one tick. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So it's risky. I mean, you're inside of the thing, so we'll call it risky. And yeah, so just risky standard.
This is gonna be finesse, risky, standard effect. It's an action roll. We roll. Oh no!
Okay. So
Damn.
we'll say
So
you take. We'll
do
say
I
you
mark
take
XP for
a.
failing,
Do you
or
what?
do I mark XP for failing, or is it only for if it's in a desperate position?
Only for desperate.
Yeah, only desperate.
Okay.
Then you mark XP for desperate, well, regardless of you mark if you roll desperate.
Okay,
if you
got
just
it.
fail desperate.
Yeah. Okay. So, Polly, how do you go about sort of like deftly trying to get these jewels out of their little, they're sort of like on little harnesses. They're sort of like docked at the top and the bottom on these like things that line the walls. How are you going about doing that?
The issue that Polly is presented with at the very, very beginning is that she realizes she doesn't know how to like unhook them, how to unplug them.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of asking, a Ravel, like, how do I get these things? Now she just spent too long trying to figure it out, and that was just didn't. Yeah, she just didn't know how to do it until time was going by too quickly.
Okay, so you kind of snap one of these things off. Go ahead. We'll go ahead and let's keep track of how many joules you've gotten out of this. So we'll go ahead and mark 2 joules because you do get that much out.
I'll write that on the crew sheet.
Okay. And well, maybe don't write it on the crew sheet yet, because we're not out of the woods quite just yet.
Oh, I'm writing it in the bio and info section just as part of notes.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Polly, as you're snapping off the 3rd joule, you sort of snap it off at a weird, like it's sort of stuck. You're sort of getting a little bit panicked. It's starting to get a little bit desperate. You're getting kind of frustrated. You snap it off incorrectly, and the vessel that holds the jewels shatters and breaks in half. Spewing kind of out of the interior down onto your hand is sort of like a very intensely hot kind of thermal liquid that sits inside of the jewel itself. It burns your hand. Go ahead and mark. I'd say
Ollie, you can roll to resist that consequence if you want.
Yep.
I have heavy armor.
That's true. Off the exosuit with
you do have
that,
heavy armor.
that should do something, right?
I think so.
Let's see. Marking armor is gonna do what?
Heavy armor is free, and only marking your first use of armor counts towards your load on a score.
Let's see what armor can do specifically. I think it can. I think Teddy's about to throw harm at you.
It can basically negate the scale of harm that you take.
Okay.
And I think in this case it would probably negate that. Yeah, so this sort of like hot liquid, it sort of maybe like melts the sort of like first exterior layer of the exosuit around your hand. But then as it sort of like rolls off and laps down onto the ground, the sort of shattering, the jewel, the sort of shattering of the jewel as it was taken outside of its holding, immediately triggers an alarm system inside of the energy housing. The lighting inside, we see it shift to a very stark, like pulsating red. The front door, immediately sort of like a grate comes down on it. a voice starts ringing out through, "Warning, warning, containment procedure activated. Warning, warning, containment procedure activated. Augustine coming online. Augustine coming online." The color of the sort of like pillar that's in the center of the room, the color changes to a very, very deep red, and I guess sort of like a holographic projection of like a man's face sort of projects itself out into the room. The man opens his mouth and says, "Are you hurt?"
I'm still casually unplugging jewels off the wall while looking at you, and then being like,
Polly's just gonna do the finger to the mouth thing, just be quiet, and then still continue to try and pull them off. Yeah.
I
look at you. I look at you, and I'm like, still unplugging shit. Like,
you don't have to be quiet. The walls of this place are my eyes. You know that, yes? Who are you?
Still staying quiet. I feel as if like any sort of inclination as to our personalities, who we are, our voice print, anything besides the fact that we're wearing armor is gonna give something up. So staying quiet, staying masked, and ignoring it.
You're not auditors, that's for sure. Although they are on their way soon. Thieves, perhaps, in my treasury.
I look for an access portal. Can I hack? No, I can't hack this thing, but maybe I can fuck up his wires. Can I take a look at the situation, Teddy? See if I can spot.
Oh yeah, I'm plugging from the room at least.
The auditors have been informed. I've already sent a dispatch out to their central processing system. The Iron Maiden shall be arriving in T-minus 50, 49.
Oh god damn it! Okay, Teddy, I like to study the room. I like to study the room so I can find.
Can I do a flashback?
Yes, you can.
Also,
can I do a flashback where I expected that at some point that we might trigger an alarm?
Okay.
And that I had hacked in a basic. I don't know what there's a type of code where once it's triggered, it basically eats the signal.
Okay.
Where
I don't know what that is, but yeah, that makes sense.
Just kind of like it's a code that it's like I knew the line that's gonna go. I just kind of went out and tried to find like a little substation between. I knew we were hitting tower 21B or whatever we're hitting.
To jam the signal or like confuse it somehow.
Okay. Yeah. How do you go about doing this? I think depending on how you want to go about it, it's going to be 1 or 2 stress. Although I think no, it's going to be 2 stress. Augustine is the central AI for all of the WEH. So.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask if I could tell if Augustine is lying.
AI don't lie. AI don't lie.
It's a person.
Dang it.
Yeah, no, because a 1 or a 0, baby.
I imagine that there is kind of like a central like hub, like where like maybe like 10 in a block kind of connect, and it's like a central hub that then connects to a larger hub. And I just go to the nearest one, and I want to try to hack in and plant this bug that if it gets a distress signal, it deletes the signal, waits a bit, and then returns a confirmation of signal receipt. And that backup is en route in so time.
But nobody's really
there was
coming. Okay, cool. That actually works for me. Go ahead and mark. I feel like that's fairly. I think the tier of Augustine is going to bump that up to a 2 stress flashback.
Yeah, because I have the fine hacking tools. Oh shit, I clicked way too many stress. I jumped up to 9. I was like, oh, that's fine. I'm at 4 now.
Okay.
Because I think I have fine hacking tools. I'm going in the middle of the, I'm not going in suspicious times. Like, it's a busy area. I kind of...
It also sort of explains why we reacted the way we did to Augustine, sort of ignoring it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, alright, yeah, no, cool. I like that. So he sort of keeps counting down. At the moment, if anybody were to check their watch, we're at 15 minutes. So we've got, 2 jewels out of this so far?
Yeah,
Let
that's
me know
my
when
phone.
Augustine gets to 0, by the way.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Let's keep going.
Let's do normal.
Just a
So he oh, sorry. Was someone talking to do something?
No, go ahead.
So we're at 2. Should we both roll? Should we do some kind of like
I mean, you could just take the tick and take what? How many? 4? Yeah, 4.
but boosting it up would end up doing like okay. You know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm going to have my I'm gonna control my drone to help me collect jewels.
All right, go ahead and give me a control roll.
Cool.
That's gonna be risky standard.
Alrighty. I'm trying to decide if I want to do stress here. I think I want to push myself for this control roll.
And I'm just going to be doing standard, I think, 4 at the same time.
I'm pushing myself on this one. 2 stress. We're doing control.
At some point, I do want to try to weld the grate back onto the transport vehicle.
Do you want to try and do that now?
Method. At some point, yeah, just on the next break,
Yeah.
like because this is. I'm imagining I'm doing this concurrently because I'm not doing anything.
What did I get? Partial success. 4 and 1. Okay, cool. So partial success on that, Teddy. Me and my drone, who I have yet to name, are it kind of like scampers over the floor towards me, and it's like using some of its own like limbs to help me as I'm like stuffing them into the duffel bag.
Okay, so you get the 4 standard that you would have gotten, and then the drone helps you get 2 more. So that's
we're looking
6.
6. So we got 2 from the last one, so we're looking at 8 total at this point.
Yep, so we're looking at 8 total.
We hit our average.
We sure did.
We'll mark that as a tick.
Sweet.
I think one more tick and we dip.
Okay.
Take and dip.
All right, let's take one more. Do you want y'all? Okay, we got 2 more. We got what? 10 minutes left.
I'd say Polly could do this next one.
I'll do the next one.
No,
Find out.
Sorry.
And then maybe we can cut to cornfield on the roof, doing repairs.
Okay, we got 5 minutes. Polly.
Did we get a signal from cornfield that like he had put a flat that he had kind of countered Augustine's?
I
would have known.
I think we can sort of retcon that. Like y'all would have already known.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the whole idea of the flashback system is it's not necessarily like I secretly did this. It's like no, the whole time we knew.
Yeah.
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 Unless I was like intentionally wanting to like surprise y'all for like a gag. It's like the idea is y'all knew at some point the week before I went out and laid the thing. You're like, okay, cool, we can rely on that. We trust him.
Just burn all of your character's stress to lay like elaborate pranks for the rest of the group. Don't even contribute to the score.
I knew we were gonna come in this door, so I actually already broke in and I put an eraser, like with a chalkboard eraser on top of the door, so you open it up and it hits him in the face.
God dang it!
Nice.
You have to sneak
was
through
really
3
hard to
layers of
sneak
security
in.
in order to do that.
Yeah, it took 4 stress.
To explain how burnt out you were, and I don't know.
That's emotional
Absolutely
damage.
fucking
Right there.
like Joker fucking brained psychotic character.
I'm a
We start the
dog
heist.
chasing cars.
We start the heist, and you're like, so you have 0 stress, right? That's last time we checked and you had 0. It's like, no, I have 8. What'd you do?
You'll see.
We get up there, and Bree's character's like, no, I kill the pilot. That's mine. That's my job.
And it's me.
All right, cool. All right,
I
so
say 1.
Polly, do you want to go ahead and just nab your standard 4?
Oh shit.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you want to go
Yes.
ahead and grab your standard 4?
Yeah, I'll just grab 4.
Okay. So that's another tick. That's another 4. We're sitting at 12 jewels.
We're looking at 5 minutes, huh?
We're looking at less than 5 minutes. We're looking at 2.5 minutes left.
Okay.
While
Now
this
it's
is
time.
happening, Cornfield, let's go ahead and cut to you up on the roof. How are you gonna go about trying to fix this thing?
So, I want to use a combo of 2 items because I understand this is a desperate situation.
Yep.
So one, just to allow myself to do this, I have modification tools
Okay.
because it can either be soldering or up to welding, like it's
Yep.
kind of. And I want to go. Not really the best at welding. They're not going to be clean welds. I just basically want to really study the way it was attached and like the markings that was on the grate and bottom part that like ripped off upon impact, and just try to line it up and then reattach it the same way as it sees. Not using any knowledge that I know, just studying the way it was before.
So it's looking like you wanna study.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think I would like to study actually.
Okay. I think it might be.
That sounds appropriate.
I think.
If you think it's appropriate.
Yeah, I think study is probably the appropriate action rating here. Sounds right.
And to even just kind of allow myself the idea of like, okay, instead of using my expertise knowledge, it's taking my time to do it, is I want to lay out it's what's labeled as specialized tech. It says it's a tools that are exclusively for taking on acts of God.
Okay.
It's just an advanced technology that meant to take on acts of God.
We have access
If you
to that?
assume it's just a generic standard crew item.
Oh, okay.
It probably like won't control it, but what I'm thinking is it's basically, imagine a plunger, but it's a metal plunger that I go around about 10 feet around, and I place about 3 as kind of lightning rods to just keep it from hitting me. That it's just used made of some sort of carbine that slightly attracts the energy that is latently found in the acts of God, like the
Okay.
unique
You sort of
signature.
like create your own eye of the storm, right?
You create your own magnetic field. Hey.
Basically. And
Okay.
it doesn't work with electricity. It's like it's a certain energy that we have found. Like, oh, is it a thunderstorm coming or is it an act of God? And you're like, oh, well, the Jenkins particle is starting to escalate at
The
a.
Jenkins particle. Yeah.
So
Kind of makes
It's
a
not,
mini dead
it's
zone.
it's not an act of God unless you have the Higgs particle.
The Bose-Jenkins particle.
Yeah.
do
Okay,
I
yeah,
give a
no,
pizza
cool.
to him?
I like that. Do you want to argue that reduces the reduces from desperate to risky?
If I would love that. I was just trying to. Yeah, I was just trying to make sure to see if I can use study for at least stand effect.
I think yes, we can reduce the position from desperate to risky with that.
Because my good
But
planning.
it's going to use this. It's going to destroy this thing, and if we want to ever use it again,
What's the time repairing it?
Yeah, you'd have to. Well, you'd probably have to build a whole new one.
Okay. So
Or
then
buy.
specialized
Could we
tech would be
buy a new
in
one
op
with the
until.
tools we got?
Yeah, you could probably buy a new one too.
There we
So
go.
basically, specialized tech would be in op until we either repair or acquire a new set.
Yes.
Like it just won't, not something I can just use again.
Correct.
Cool. Seems fair.
Then, yeah. By the way, I only have a 1 in study. It's better than the 0 that I have in anything
I don't
else.
have I only have a 1 in study as well.
Does
So
anybody want to maybe burn some
I
dice
don't know
here?
how I don't know how they could help up there.
I don't think we could help you up, but we could maybe offer a ripple.
You could, yeah.
Okay, so maybe the ripple here is the repair is really rough, and it's pretty much only going to be good for 1 more use if you're able to repair it at all, and it's going to take a lot of time to repair it later. Like we're talking like Ravel's going to see this and be like, "What the fuck did you do?" And it's going to like have to spend like a clock on it. That's a possibility.
Issue is that that's dependent on
that's
success.
Yeah, that's dependent on success.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's already fucked up enough, right? Like it's already. I mean, it's not useless, but
How about the
well, actually,
the
this
specialized-
it wouldn't have been useless if the act of God had not like escalated.
How about the specialized tech draws in the strikes, like the storm, in such a way that even the Iron Maidens below notice something's up. Like they were in a fight, but like if you start seeing a tornado or like a water spout, you were like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, no, that's
they
what I was
notice
thinking
something
too.
is coming up.
Yeah.
Whether it be heat or narrative consequences, it's up to you. But
yeah, I think we would be taking heat here, both from the auditors and from Los Orgullosos at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, that actually works for me.
Sounds good to me.
I do like the idea of like it kind of being like, to them it looks like a water spout or like the eye of the storm just kind of forming around it, just briefly.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Cool.
And keep in mind, this is just drawing attention.
I imagine too that you're making the storm by creating like this new like sort of center of the storm. You're making the storm more intense in the like actual vicinity around this energy housing.
Yeah, and that's why they might take heat against it, is because it kind of feels like an attack on them. Like they're like, "Hey, we're already fighting down here. Now we're making it rain harder."
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Who's doing that?
So I haven't even rolled yet.
That's plus 1d. You can also burn an extra stress for another die.
I got too much stress.
Yeah, just push yourself.
I am waiting to resist consequences.
I don't know, man.
I have armor. I have armor to resist consequences.
If you don't fix this thing, I
don't know how we're getting out.
I don't know how we're getting out. Yeah.
Okay, so risky. What effect am I at? Standard?
Yeah. Yeah, you're
okay. I'm gonna push myself, so that's at least plus 1 die.
Okay.
And we took the ripple, so it's plus 2 die.
I thought a ripple
maybe
was
I
plus
could.
1.
Well, I mean, like an additional plus 1, so I'm 2 plus. Matt plus 2.
Yep.
Hold on, maybe I got something I can pull out, some kind of flashback. Let me look through my gear. I've got spare parts as an item. Teddy, 1 or 0 stress to leave the spare parts. Maybe that could boost him another 1d. He's got some stuff that he could use to like repair it a little better than expected.
Okay.
Like maybe you left like specially susceptible welding rods or something.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that works for me. That'll just be 1 stress on your part.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
1 stress.
So I'm at plus 3 die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
big money.
And that's the. Oh dear God. Oh, thank God. Oh.
Okay. All right, we're good. Okay, cool. So how do we see you put this thing back together? Like, what do we see as you set up, these defenses, like put this thing back together? How does that all shake out?
So the first thing that happens is you see me place 2 of the plunger-like things. They kind of like jam into the metal. And then as I place the third, sound just like, it seems like pressure just changes in the spot. And like it gets weirdly muffled as the cyclone starts to pick up around us. And I'm like, that's not what I thought was going to happen. I was expecting lightning rods, not a tornado. Screw act of gods. I don't like this. And then I go to try to weld. I'm struggling. And then I pick up one of the rods. I'm like, this is the one he supplied. I remember him telling me this one okay, 270 Kelvin. Okay. And then I'm like, and it starts working well. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just lifting up the metal grate underneath, reattaching it to points just so that it's serviceable.
Okay, cool.
I want you to know, when y'all step on it, you do not feel comfortable standing on this thing.
And just have to stand on something.
Yeah, I think
but
Rob
you're standing on something.
I think Rob will be critical of your work, but like with like a constructive sort of eye when we get to that point.
Okay, fuck yeah. Cutting back down to the 2 of you inside of the thing, we've got 1 last tick of the clock. Does anybody want to burn this candle all the way down and grab those last jewels, or what?
I should escape in case y'all struggle in getting out. That might take extra time.
Yeah, I don't think being inside when it goes off would be very conducive to our health. I think now is the time for exfiltration. Plus, who knows how long Manon has until he's caught. He said 20 minutes for sure, and that's our 20-minute timer.
I look at the clock, the mission clock, and I look back at the jewels, and look back at the mission clock, and look back at the jewels, back at the mission clock, and I look back at the jewels, and I'm like, I'm going for it. This is gonna be XP, baby. I'm going in, and I start having my drone start. I'm gonna go for another roll.
You're gonna
so
go for
control
another
on-
roll?
I'm going for another roll,
Oh
baby.
my god, dude! I thought you were just gonna go with the standard one. All right, all
Polly
right.
is at right now. She like 25 feet up the rope, but she stops and turns around and is like, "Oh no!" And she's just hanging
Yeah.
20 feet,
Okay, all right.
25 feet up
Okay,
while
okay.
this is
So Polly,
happening.
so Polly and Cornfield are already in a position to get the fuck out of there, and then and Ravel's still inside the thing. Okay, all right, cool,
Mhm.
cool.
But you probably hear the AI person as well say, "Reinforcements arriving," and
Oh, this
just
was a
an
long
audio.
time ago. Yeah. This was a while ago. This was like 2 ticks ago. The voice
Well,
is just
2
sort
ticks
of...
ago, you heard a little audio recording of, "Stop! Come out with your hands up! Hey, get over here!" And just like random police chatter, and it's like, what? This isn't.
Yeah,
anything.
Augustine probably goes into a loop at some point after that, as it's confused. It's sort of been trying to suss out, what happened here. But I think it's probably getting to the point where it's figuring out, that you put, yeah.
My code only could like catch like 2 maybe signals, so it's like eventually they are getting a real signal out.
Yeah.
Not mere thieves, Augustine. Haha.
I wonder. Let me quick look up this this tool before I make a decision about the roll. I'm trying to look. I'm looking for another. Anybody got a ripple for me? Anybody got any ideas there?
I think, okay.
Augustine becomes your rival.
That'd be kind of dope.
No,
But I think he'd be better as your rival, actually.
I think at this point, it's probably, you could take a ripple, for having, the auditors, they're probably gonna bust in at the last second. They're gonna see you. They're gonna know who you are. They can get a positive ID off of you very easily off of that.
I have an
so you
alternative
probably
ripple.
take some extra heat.
Okay.
And we're already taking extra heat. We're already taking extra heat from the auditors and the orgullosos, because of Cornfield's thing. So now we'd be taking even more heat from the auditors.
Okay. I'm okay. I think I'm okay with that. I did have an idea for how to maybe counter that, or maybe relieve a little bit of, or at least maybe cover my own escape. I want to rig my EMP grenade to basically go off when the auditors burst through, or the Iron Maidens burst through the door, to give myself.
Okay, it's one or the other unless you want to do a flashback. Right, you've got one. There's one wedge left on the clock.
Okay, I'm okay with a flashback. I only have 2 stress bars left, so would 1 work? Or would a 0 work? Because I feel like I'm right there. I could have the drone do it. I could have had the drone do it when it went over to the door.
When did the drone go over to the door? Oh, earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's call that... I don't want to call it 0. Let's call it 1.
Okay, 1 stress. That works for me. So what will be my benefit coming from that? That'll just be like a...
So the benefit coming from that is that we're not going to get... We'll just nullify the heat from the ripple.
Okay, cool. So they'll burst in. They'll have an opportunity to come after me.
Well, they'll burst in, but then they'll trigger the EMP, and then the sensors on the Iron Maidens will be shut down, right? Because there's no actual auditor. Like the auditors don't. Well, I mean, okay, that kind of gets into like what the Iron Maidens are, right? They're sort of like mechas that are being like. There's people that so there's prisoners from Reform that are inside of the Iron Maidens, right? And then they're hooked up with like neuro wetware that auditors basically use to like possess them, and then sort of like remote control them inside of these vehicles.
I think it would still count for heat because I think maybe just be reduced heat. What do you think? On that particular, because I feel like frying their tech is going to make them pissed. Like, I might even have killed those people by doing that.
Yeah, we'll just reduce. We'll just call that. We'll just say that we'll take -1d when it comes to figuring out what the heat's going to be from this.
Okay, cool. So we're still looking at 2d total for this, I think.
Yes.
All right, cool. So I got the 1 from how I normally have it.
What were you saying, Polly? You were saying something?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, just as a fairly simple thing that we could do is just, have all the armor, all the exosuits just, have, face blank covers, no marking, no identifying features. They're just, simple, not simple, but just hard black suits that are indistinguishable. You know what I mean?
I think that makes sense, but I think heat is kind of abstract, right? So it's not like they're gonna immediately know who you are. It's just sort of like a running meter that's keeping track of how close like the law is to your tail, right?
Gotcha. Okay, well, that was an idea.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and roll with 2 dice on risky standard, right?
Yep.
Failure. What happens?
Okay. You get no jewels out. We sort of see you go to start taking some, we see you kind of like look up at your 2 companions that are at the top of this thing waiting for you to come up. We see you kind of like do a double take towards the jewels. We see you like head towards one of the jewels. You're about to go and take it out of its sort of like housing on the wall, and that's when they break through the door. There's a loud explosion. It sort of like, pushes you down onto your feet, sort of like blasts you back. We see like the first 4 legs of one of the Iron Maidens sort of like come in through the smoke, and that's when it triggers the EMP. It sort of like fries it. We can see sort of like the static and like sort of like a strange like hissing sound coming from the smoke. It's kind of hard to tell though, because now sort of like the rippling winds and like the sound of the act of God outside are pouring into this place. The whatchamacallit, the jewels on the wall are sort of like shaking violently now that they're like fully exposed to the elements on both sides, and this EMP has gone off and there's been an explosion on the door. And it looks like sort of all of these things taken into together, like the resonance from the act of God, the explosion at the door, and the following EMP, start a chain reaction at the bottom of the structure, where the jewels start exploding. It's sort of like popcorn going off in a skillet, right? One goes off, and then that sets off 2, and then that sort of starts setting off more and more. What do you do, Ravel? Your drone is gone.
Oh, I guess it wasn't exactly EMP shielded. I think for a moment Ravel kind of just looks at like kind of like the spectacle of the explosions and like the damage from the EMP, and it's just like, wow, like as if they were fireworks. Then sees like just kind of looks down at the drone like, oh baby, picks it up, kind of hauls it over her shoulder with the duffel bag, and then just starts to hustle for the rope.
Okay. The exploding jewels have gone up maybe about a quarter of the energy housing so far. The explosions look like they're sort of like rocking the core of the building. Augustine is sort of like glitching in and out of existence. The hologram is like fading and reappearing, and like his words are getting sort of like scrambled. So you're doing what again?
Hustling for the rope. I want to get out of here.
Okay. You're gonna have to we're gonna have to check and see how quickly it is that you ascend up this thing, because the reaction is, maybe about a quarter of the way of destroying this whole place with you in it.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'll assist. I was still technically on the rope as well, near the top.
Okay.
Let's see.
We're
I'm probably
rolling.
gonna
The
need
position
it.
is desperate.
Position is desperate. Okay, cool. I like my XP. Okay. So is the obstacle getting to the rope or getting up the rope?
I think the obstacle is getting from where you're at, having been knocked onto your feet and the place is exploding. Obstacle is both getting to the rope and then safely ascending.
Okay, I think I could cover safely ascending, because I imagine we kind of have like those kind that would pull you up, like some kind of like so we don't have to like in ascender. I think I could jury rig that with my modify skill to make it like go way faster and more dangerously than it should.
Okay.
Would that work for my modify roll? Could I use that to cover both actions?
To cover both getting there and going up?
Yeah.
I think we'd have to find something else in terms of you
Or-
getting there. Right, you're
Let's
not.
see,
I don't think you're in danger of like getting there and then the place blows up, but you are in danger of getting there, hooking it up, starting to go up, and then the place blows up as you're going up. Right.
Okay. Let's see.
And then obviously everybody else is still up on the roof of this thing too, so they need to get out as well.
Okay. Well, I can't really think of anything else to do to get to the rope other than run there, but I'm not really sure what would be a appropriate role for that. Like, is it the explosions that are the danger?
I think we'll count one. I think you can get there, and we'll count one tick.
Okay, that seems fair to me. So I'll get there. That's a tick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and roll, modify with my 3 dice for my cybernetics to get up there as fast as I can.
Okay.
Is the clock? Yeah. Well, I guess I'm trying to beat the clock, but I'm not like. Is it? I don't know if it would be easier for the clock to be escape, or or is the clock named like the building blows up? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, the clock is right now the building blows up. Do we want to do 2 separate clocks, one for your escape and one for building blows up?
I think that would work. 2 separate competing clocks, and then
I think they're both tied. I think right now they're tied.
Okay. So and then my failures boost the clock. The rival clock. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I'm going to.
But also time just ticks the rival clock.
True. Okay. Well, then I'll go ahead and roll. With my action roll, I'm going to go ahead and roll.
Oh, can I assist with this one?
I would love it if you assisted.
Yeah. So I take 1 stress, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How are you assisting?
Yeah.
Having going up the having Polly was on the rope first, and so she makes the rope clear for Ravel by getting at the very top, and also just making sure it's secure enough for a very fast upward roping.
Okay.
Cool. It's just going to be standard effect in desperate position, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then we're talking. So I've got 3 dice for modify. +1 from your assistance. Cool.
If you got any tools, we could bump that up to great.
That's true. Let's see how many I've got. How many have I used already? I've used Find Demolition. I've got my Find Modification tools, yeah, so I could like while I'm running, maybe I like kind of like I kind of activate the really nice stuff. The rainy day stuff, so I've got that I'll bring them to 4 parts. Yeah, 4 load used. Okay, cool. Yeah, Find Modification tools boost me to great. Standard. So just to clarify, standard effect would do what versus what great would do?
Okay, I think a great effect is going to get you up in enough time for everybody to comfortably get out right as this thing explodes. I think it would be slightly more in question. Nobody's going to die, but you're certainly going to be suffering some consequences by the time that you get up there and everybody gets on the thing, and then Manon swoops in, and then everybody gets out.
Cool. Okay.
You're just buying yourself more time.
Sounds good. I would love to buy myself some time. All right. Desperate standard +1 die. Okay, let's do it. That's it, baby.
Full success, baby. Let's go.
Full success.
Yes. All right.
Not a single below 4.
Not even nothing, baby.
All right. You tell me. You tell me what happens.
Okay. Let me set my music here. There we go.
Changes the tunes. Nice.
Listening to the Metal Gear Solid 5 soundtrack currently, so
fuck yeah.
Kind of run forward. I imagine I kind of disassemble my drones slightly on the way, like kind of just like hustling with the pack and just like taking apart pieces of it, and then getting up like with the ascender, kind of applying it on and just like kind of like really quickly modifying it for speed and hooking in, and then sparks are coming off of this thing as it's like taking her up like 100 feet within like maybe like less than like 15 seconds.
Okay.
Like there's like almost G-forces on her as she's coming up, and then like it like rigs, and she's also rigged it to like to release as she's up on top, as she hits the top of the rope. So she like doesn't just hit the top and climb over. She flies up slightly, into the wind before the two of you probably catch her, or at least one of you catches. I'm actually that's probably what you do.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because
she's
I was holding the rope steady, and so you just fly right up into me.
Mm-hmm. She's just like over the comms, just like woo. Lands on the roof with you pulling her in, ready to for the extraction.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the building is now getting close to being about 3/4 of the way blown up. It's sort of like rocking and swaying underneath you. The core is now like super volatile. The storm is raging outside. What do y'all do? How do we get out of here? You can sort of see overhead, Manon is doing like his absolute very best to keep the long weekend stable, kind of up above you, but this is about as close as he can get. I mean, he's probably maybe like another 200 feet up.
Okay, this is call Manon and tell him it's time to swoop in.
Yeah, y'all see, as y'all come up, y'all see me. I don't know why, the whole time I imagined this platform, it's like, like a grappling hook, how it kind of comes down and then like out. Like the out part is the platform you stand on, but there's a little center kind of cone, and that's where like the coil is wrapped up.
Yeah.
And you just see me there priming the fuse that's about to trigger. It launches the balloon up a little bit and goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool as hell.
You're gonna need to prime a pretty strong, fuse here to get this thing to blow past the act of God. How are you gonna do that?
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily need to blow past the act of God because it fills with like a condensed helium, so like it starts raising up. It's just how fast it goes up. So yeah, I would want it to launch as high as possible. Otherwise, it's just going to be going.
We got demolition tools, everybody. I've got enough to use my last 2 slots, or if anybody else wants to use it, that's totally fine. I feel like probably you would have done it, Corny.
Yeah, I probably.
Since you were already up there handling that.
Yeah, I think I was kind of just adding some extra charges underneath the normal priming charges that would like launch it up, and like just to activate, but like to launch it higher up, just so it can get in its full position faster. Because
I think in order to get it in a position where you get out of here before this thing blows up beneath you, you need to do that because of the act of God.
Makes sense. Probably, honestly, with the winds, like the balloon probably wouldn't be enough on its own. We would need the extra vertical force. That sounds like physics, right?
Yeah, sure. But also, it's the fine balance of not then damaging the balloon.
True.
So, I can have it prepped. Do you happen to have a skill where you could do the final touches as you run up, and then maybe you trigger the skill?
I can modify if that would work.
Can I help?
I can either modify it, but I feel like control would be better.
I don't know. I feel like wreck is kind of or modify. Yeah, modify might be better just in terms of placing and lining up charges.
Okay, we'll call it modify because I definitely have the skill for it. That's going to be another. Okay, will that be
as
desperate
you walk
for me,
up? Yes. Everything that's happening up above in the act of God is desperate.
Gotcha.
As you walk up, I'm like, it's prepped, and I just hand you like all the loose wires, and I'm like, I don't know.
I kind of toss you the duffel bag and my drone. I'm like, hold this. I toss them both to you. Take the wires and like soldering or like mini welding blowtorch tools come out, and
those,
it's
like
just to like cross
things
them.
And just like yeah.
And she handles that, or she tries to. Okay. Desperate, but
I'm gonna
standard effect.
My idea is me setting it all up as the help.
Okay, so that's another D. Polly, do you want to try and help somehow? I don't know if you've got any more stress to burn.
You could help by securing the jewels to the center frame.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll grab the duffel bags and start clipping them onto the center main mast of the thing.
Okay, cool. So both of y'all mark a stress, and that's an extra plus 2D.
Okay, cool. That's on a modifier, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is.
Can we think of a ripple, or have we already taken a lot of consequences?
I think we're okay. We got 5 dice. I say knock on wood. That's okay. 5 dice. Here we go. Fuck! I knew I shouldn't have said anything. Damn it. We have 5 dice. We'll be fine. We'll be
we could still get what we want. We could still get out.
True.
It could just something else happen.
What happens, Teddy?
Okay.
Worst
Just
possible
saying.
thing.
Just saying. Since like we don't know how we're getting out, we can get out, but maybe just some really
Not the way we want
unforeseen-
to. Some fucked up shit's gonna go down.
Okay. So, we see everybody sort of help in rigging the Fulton recovery device to launch off of the roof of this place. Everybody's set and ready to go. The explosions inside of the building that you're all standing on are sort of rocking the surface of the place. Lots of groaning noises as the whole place starts coming down. There's a very steadily increasing whining noise coming from the core as it's reaching, what's the word I'm looking for? It's about to explode. It's getting
going critical.
It's a critical
mass.
mass.
That's the word I'm looking for.
By the way, I have a suggestion of something that might be like a nice we still get out, but failure thing as all this goes down.
I've got an idea. Everybody straps on in. You're all ready to go. You make your hand signs. Everybody's good to go. The balloon launches up into the air and immediately just sort of stomach lurchingly pulls the three of you and the bag with all the jewels up off of the building as it explodes, which propels you even further. Sort of the fire from the explosion of this place, once the core goes critical, it's a massive, violent explosion that then surges into the act of God and creates sort of like a fire tornado,
Fire tornado
type
That's
deal.
so cool.
The three of you are sort of rocketing up into the air off of the back of the explosion and sort of the rising heat of the explosion. It carries you very far, too far, past the long weekend, which is now sort of diverting. Maybe over the comms you hear man and you hear a what's happening? I think you flew past me right now. I gotta now.
Ravel is just woo-ha!
I have two ideas.
You pull past it, past the fire. The long weekend disappears below you. It's all just sort of a whirring torrent. Until eventually the fire dies down, the act of God begins to dissipate. Act of Gods don't tend to last very long. It's maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes, so of very concentrated destruction. The act of God sort of begins to recede into a very kind of strong tropical storm. And we see the three of you begin to descend. And you descend and descend, and it seems like you're sort of on the outskirts of the WEH along the south, until eventually you hit the ground very safely. Nobody's hurt. You've got all the jewels with you, but you're deep, deep in Los Orgullosos territory. There's nobody around. You're sort of around the outskirts of where the energy housings are stored. They're sort of a little bit fewer and farther between. Directly behind you to the south, maybe you sort of land in the middle of a field, right? Ahead of you to the north are just the beginnings of the energy housings. To the south is sort of the first beginnings of a mountainous range that cuts through the center of the island. The three of you land kind of down onto this field. It's pouring rain. The wind is still howling, but nothing like what we just saw. What did the three of you do?
Polygraph is going to put her fingers to her ear and call someone. I'm going to establish a flashback.
Oh, okay. All right. What do you do?
So, and this is not against anyone here in the group at all, But the only people, the Polygraph doesn't trust many people. And there are very few people she trusts more than the people in this party. One of them being her friend Chang Ying, who runs a glitch front. She did do this by herself. But she called them and said, hey, there's this operation that we're going to be doing near this area. There got to be a lot of people there. In the event that something goes wrong, can you have someone pick us up, or can you have something ready nearby, because these orgullosos seem very orgulloso, and we don't want to be, if we have to run through their territory, quickly and quietly would be best. If you could help out with that.
Okay, so you arranged for someone to pick you up?
Either to pick us up or to have left something for us to use to leave.
Okay, where? I don't think that you could have planned specifically that it would be
Not
like at the exact location where you dropped. Where is it? And what is it? I like the idea that there is like something that you have to go and get. You know what I mean?
Getaway vehicle?
Yeah, either a getaway vehicle, either it's a pickup truck, or a pair of motorcycles, one of them with a sidecar. I'll leave that up to you, because Chang Ying just told me he would have something.
Okay.
But it's the location.
Yeah, how do you know
what
where it's
location?
at?
Let's see.
Fortune roll that one. We could roll for maybe, like, we could abstract Chang Yin's tier somehow. You know, get some kind of tier fortune roll.
Sure.
Could have also, like, we had a transponder that, like, we just then have to buckle down, like, turn on a signal and be like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
I do like that.
Essentially, it's like,
now the
okay,
part bad thing is
I
we have
put
to
it
wait a
somewhere, go
long
get it.
time.
Yeah.
And then
like, you're being told, hey, I'm going to pick you up at the Walmart, or like that's what they're thinking, but then you're like, hey, I'm like at the Target, like across town, and they're like, what the fuck? Why?
your Uber is on their way. So now we gotta. So then I think I like that more, because then the danger is like we have to defend ourselves. We have to defend our property from
this entire
or
time,
until they come to us.
Absolutely. I don't mean it for it to be a like an easy fix, like, oh, we all of a sudden have vehicles.
No,
I did mean it for something to be like, it's available, we go get it.
Yes, you're it's an opportunity, and that also knocks it, because I feel like if it was the other way, it would be a 2 stress. This is just a 1 stress.
This is my friend.
Okay, cool.
Also, I want y'all to know, this whole time, I've realized we've had different ideas of Fulton systems, where I think you're thinking of it like how it is in Metal Gear Solid, where the balloon picks up the item and lifts the item up. But real Fulton was you just attach a balloon and a string to the item. The balloon goes up, your item stays on the ground. Yeah, a plane grabs the balloon and picks it up.
Dark Knight.
I never thought we were being launched up in the air. I thought just the balloon was going up. And
then Manon would catch us and skyhook us.
Or just catch the balloon, and then that yanks us off the thing.
Oh,
but then we got launched in the air, and I was like,
I was thinking the Metal Gear thing.
But yeah, because they video game it where the balloon lifts them up, but
I think it still works.
Otherwise,
I probably would have gotten blown to hell.
I was confused at first. I was like, what?
Or I guess
like, why are we in the air?
The balloon.
Yeah. Hey, we could have thought we got pulled up, and then, but
yeah, it's also part of why I mentioned that the cable that comes off the balloon like has that glowing, like, pulsing light on it, so the pilots can see it and catch it.
Yeah. Fulton is a very strange thing.
Yeah. It was a weird idea.
Who's your contact again? What's his name?
His name is Chang Ying.
Chang Ying.
Chang Ying.
What's his tier?
I don't know. He's one of my friends.
Okay. I'd say he's probably is he one of your friends from your past? Like, was he a member of your old crew?
Okay. He was.
Then he's probably tier 1 or tier 2. Let me see. So that's just going to be 1d6. And that is a bad result. Okay. So, Chang Ying, he left a set of cycles out in the WEH in a warehouse. In the midst the energy housings. There are warehouses, there are stations for the engineers, whatnot. He left them in a warehouse. Looking at the map in Roll20, if you guys right now are like here, right where I'm pointing,
Yes.
the warehouse is here.
Ooh.
So you'll have to head back into the core of the WEH, back to where the auditors and the Orgullosos are fighting, and now where the sort of the threat level, now that the act of God has passed, is going to be very high, right? Like visibility is back to being normal. The fighting has either resumed or the auditors have completely won. You're not quite sure. That's usually how things tend to go. But you'd have to head back in there to get your things. What do you do?
We still have our duffel bags full of jewels, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. We don't have to go for the bikes.
Let's see, what else could we do?
You don't have to go for the bikes. You could probably contact Manon and have him come pick you up, but that would mean you'd have to sort of find a place to hide out here while he's en route. And that also puts Manon under risk, because he has to fly back in without the cover of an act of God.
Mm-hmm. Shoot. You said that we're closer to, like, the southern end of the WEH, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible to leave the city?
And head out into the mountains? Yeah, you could.
Maybe not too far. At least just far enough for him to find a suitable landing runway where we won't immediately get hounded on.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'm so sorry. I clicked away on the Roll20. Where are we? Like, just drop another quick ping.
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's like farther southeast. Okay.
Yeah. We're technically closer to the edge of the city than we would be to the bikes. Alternatively, we take a cab.
Just call a cab.
Well,
Just call a cab. Just call
Call a Delamain.
Delamain, thank you.
See, we would look pretty conspicuous.
You would look super conspicuous.
You
guys are in exosuits carrying a big old duffel bag full of jewels.
Two duffel bags.
Two duffel bags full of jewels. Not to mention, I got my disassembled drone, and me and Polly are loaded for bear.
You guys, I imagine while this has been going on, a scene has sort of been playing out where you've been discussing what to do. As this has been happening, from the north, like out of where the energy housings are, there are a pair of headlights heading in your direction.
I look in that direction and say, maybe a getaway vehicle's gonna come to us. Know what I mean?
Okay, I'll go. Do you want me to hide? Do you want me to talk?
You talk and I can shoot.
Okay. Very well.
I go try to hide behind a rock.
And keep hold of the stuff, Corny.
Yeah.
You guys are in like an open field. There's nowhere to hide.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's no hiding. Okay.
I turn into a rock.
And the delivery device.
The delivery device is like a rope and a parachute lying on the ground.
Is there any way we could kind of maybe get the drop on them? Could we put up some kind of a...
They're pretty far. They're pretty far away. They're heading in your direction. I mean, you could try. It's still dark out, and there's still like a tropical storm hitting y'all. So, I mean, you could try and head for like the energy housings and find hiding there. Or you could try and just start running out into the fucking into the jungle to the south.
Can we I think we should steal those vehicles if we can take them from whoever's got them. Can we tell how roughly, like, what kind of threat we're looking at with these two headlights? We talking to these, like, is this military? Is this the Orgullosos?
They are. They're two very small headlights. They're not in like perfect like symmetry with each other. So it's probably fair to assume that these are like the headlights on a pair of cycles.
Okay. I think I definitely think that we should go for it. Let's just maybe try to like Polly, maybe you could do like an actual setup maneuver. Give me and slash or Corny a chance to surprise him, or somebody else can do it. But I think I think I want to shoot him down.
If anything, I can try and get their attention.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll try and polygraph will. All right, cool. We'll do this. She'll turn toward the two headlights. We'll start walking forward
like
a little bit.
They're like very far away. Like I don't know if I've stressed that enough, but they're like they're heading in your direction, but they're far away.
That's time to set up, though, right? We just gotta wait for him.
We could lay down on the ground and just pretend we're like unconscious and knocked out, and eventually they're gonna roll up.
It's kind of dark. They might run us over. But we definitely need to do something to make them stop. So whatever you can think. So I think maybe like dragging the Fulton into the road might do it.
Yeah.
Maybe
or like some kind of road flare, something to like get them to stop.
We throw down a road flare and then lay down all around it, like as if we fell out of the sky and died.
Something like that. Something to get them to stop.
Oh, what do y'all want to do?
Give us an opportunity.
No, I got it. Remember how I said I have that fine what is it? It's my fine cover identity as a corporate agent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I pull out my corporate badge. And I'm like, will this work?
You're gonna need to get them to stop, honey. We gotta get them. They're roaring down the highway.
Would a gun work?
A gun would work, but we gotta shoot them. We gotta get them to slow down. I can shoot them. We can shoot them, but it'll fuck up the bikes, and then we might as well have not done it at all. You know?
Can't we just flag them down?
In the middle of the night in a tropical storm, looking like this. Maybe if you.
And we're outside of the storm now, right? Like the fires.
Well, the act of God is over, but it's sort of like receded now into like a mid-category hurricane.
Okay. Yeah,
look, I could
lights at them. They'll probably come over.
No, we need a guaranteed stop. I've done a lot of shit like this.
So the idea. Okay, so let me just get an idea of what's going on here. So you guys want them to come to you and then stop. So that are you gonna just try and like hold them up and get their bikes, or just like shoot them like once they've stopped, so that you don't like pick them off of their bikes and cause them to crash and break the bikes?
Yes,
that seems like the general plan.
Mm-hmm. Either hold them up or kill them. As long as we get them to stop, because just trying to shoot them or just trying to flag them down, I don't think it's going to get us surefire results.
Okay. So how are we going to get them to stop?
That is the question. I think what we need to do. I mean, I'm running low on gear here. I'm kind of looking around. I've pretty much. I've really only. I'm saving my last load item for my gun. Let's see. Could I? Is the Fulton fucked? Because if so, I could cannibalize it.
The Fulton's fucked.
Okay, I can cannibalize that. Maybe I could. I don't want to burst their tires though. I need something to stop them at full.
We're still in town though, right?
Yeah, I mean,
we're in a field.
Yeah, I mean you're in a field, but you're still technically in town.
Okay. Would it be possible for Manon to land in this field?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. I could pull out a portable light source. Could we say that's a flare gun?
Well, actually, no. No, he couldn't land in this field because can you land? I don't think this is
watercraft.
The kind of plane, yeah, I don't think you can land a watercraft on land.
Yeah.
No, he can't land here.
It wouldn't make sense for it.
So
I don't think
specifically
either.
a watercraft. Okay. Maybe we can upgrade the ship to have land versatile landing gear, but right now.
Yeah, make it what's the word for that?
Not amphibious.
That's amphibious.
Well, it already is amphibious. Amphibious means it has water
and air.
Okay, I've got an idea. Boys, help me move this, and I think my idea: drag the Fulton into the middle of the road.
Okay.
I take Polly. I take your portable light source, and I start to mess with that. My plan is to rig this to a remote timer, so it will give off like a really, really intense burn the entire battery inside of it to create like a semi-flash. Not really more flash, no bang, but something to get them to like hopefully blind the drivers so they brake rather than keep going.
You want it to go off right as they're passing by.
Yes, I want to rig it to my wrist gauntlet so I can time it.
I think we're kind of hedging on a fortune roll here that will determine whether or not when they're blinded, do they just stop their vehicles and they're fine, or do they fucking crash?
Could we do it based off of the modify roll to determine those particular consequences?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we can base the fortune roll off of that.
Alrighty. Risky standard?
Yep.
Alrighty. We're looking at 3 dice.
Okay.
Anybody got anything to offer here? So I'm not pushing myself. I will end up going trauma.
I'm all maxed out.
Alrighty. Then
special kind of white guy.
I didn't mean to hit that.
Well, the timing was great. Fuck it. We're going 3 dice. Fuck me.
Okay.
All right.
So that's gonna be. We'll just say that they crash. So you guys set this up. Do you go and like hide out in the field while this thing goes off and like swoop in on them?
Yeah. I think to narrate it a little bit, if you don't mind, Teddy. Imagine we're kind of like like Ravel's kind of like excitedly talking through her plan. She's like, oh, they're gonna fucking slow down these fucking idiots. And they're sitting there like, oh yeah, see, and the way I rigged the Y is blah blah blah, and then it's like.
Yeah, no, the way that you rig it off goes off beautifully, right? It's a perfect explosion. Maybe a little too perfect. Yeah, no, they get blinded. They kind of pull up, and you can see that these are two men. One is a younger man, maybe in like his early 20s. He's like very scrawny. He's wearing a tank top and a pair of like black military cargo pants and boots. He has kind of like strapped across his back an assault rifle. With him is an older man. He looks kind of, he's also like very scrawny. He's like quite a bit older, maybe like in his 60s, white hair. It looks maybe as they're like approaching on their bikes that the older man is sort of like nursing a wound on his stomach. He sort of has like one hand that's not on the throttle of the bike, like clutching on the wound. But yeah, no, your deagle goes off. It blinds the two of them. They scream. They crash their bikes into each other and then into the explosion of the Fulton device, which then sets off one of the bikes. They crash into the exploding Fulton, and are kind of like caught on fire. The old man does not get up as he falls on the ground into the flames. The younger man gets up and starts like running around flailing, trying to like get the flames off of him. Let's see if he lives.
Tell you what, I'm really fucking good at making shit blow up, and I'm not gonna apologize for it.
So, the younger man, he's on fire. Already he has severe burns over most of his body, but he's sort of still catching. He drops on the ground and starts rolling around, but he's screaming out. You can sort of, he's not very far away from the two of you. He's sort of like, please, I know my help.
This is some like yakety sax YouTube from like mid 2000s fucking like awfulness going on right now.
I also have to end soon. Like
he sees
soon.
he sees the three of y'all just sort of like lying in the grass, eyes wide.
No. Holly's gotten up and she's walking towards him, pistol in hand.
The rain sort of like puts out the fire. Polly, you walk up to him Looking down, he's sort of looking at you. He's like very badly burned all over. He looks kind of like Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Jesus Christ.
Holly,
You wanted to stop hurting?
he looks up at you. His eyes are watering. He says, please, you gotta tell my dad. You gotta tell my dad.
Tell him what?
It's over. Are you an auditor?
No. I'm an angel. And she'll ghost him.
Okay, yeah, you don't even have to roll for that. Single shot rings out.
That was a cool line.
Yeah, and then I think we'll end there.
As we hobble together one of the cycles damaged.
Oh, I want to make one amendment to that.
Mhm.
She takes her helmet off before she says what she says, and then she kills.
And
So
then
that way
you-
he can see her in the eyes,
Yeah.
at the very least.
Okay. All right.
Should we-
And we'll roll in. We'll roll in that fortune roll that I rolled. Well, actually, that's a partial success. There's one cycle. His cycle is fine. I mean, it's a little bit fucked up. But
You may
Nothing
fit
I
two.
can't fix.
I'll just sit at the Fulton device and just let y'all drive, and then drop one off and come back or something. Like, just
Maybe
sitting
we
in the
can-
storm.
Maybe I could. There's no sidecar on the other one, is there?
no, there's no sidecar on either of these. What are they? Losers?
I was hoping maybe. They died like losers.
Nah, the Orgullosos don't roll with sidecars. Come on.
All right, fair enough. Should we mark XP before we call it?
Yeah, before I forget.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, before anybody forgets.
Okay, so how?
If
What?
you roll a
Guys-
desperate action,
Check if you go to your playbook, scroll to the
Mhm.
bottom, and it'll show you, how
Let's see.
what your items are looking for. So I rolled 2 desperate actions in modify, so I marked that. Then for each item below, you mark XP once or twice if it happened more than once.
I need to write down what my beliefs, drives, and cultures are so that I can get XP for them.
You know what?
Yes.
Ted, I want to ask
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Would you count the very last action Polygraph just did as struggling with issues from vice, root, or trauma?
No.
No.
No,
I wasn't struggling.
It was
Yeah.
cool. It was cool, but you weren't really struggling with anything.
Okay, I think I gotta express more that she doesn't feel. She's starting to feel bad about doing bad things,
I
but we'll
think-
get into that.
I think I personally was able to express. I'm not sure if this is a vice. It's not really a vice, but like, I think staying to keep looting definitely caused a lot of struggle and conflict. I think that would be enough for 1 XP. Something like
I'll say yes. That was a particularly fucking monkey-brained decision on
basically-
your part.
yes, we
Its
can
weight
call
of
that.
pulls in character flaws and things that just would get you in trouble, and
Mhm.
instead of leaning into them.
Yeah, she's definitely got a compunction for chaos, and that was a choice that she specifically made with chaos in mind. She's like, "This is a bad idea, and I'm going with it."
Mhm.
I don't think I
Okay,
earned much experience.
It wasn't her
You
struggling.
made,
She was
you made what?
pessimist.
One desperate roll?
No, because I used items and I got it to risky.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That's true.
I don't think I rolled a single desperate action.
Yep, I had the lion's share of those. It was awesome.
Fucks up the
Okay.
entire situation.
I did fuck up the whole situation. I'm
no
not
one's
gonna
dead,
apologize.
but everything is fucked now.
And we
I mean,
have
you
jewels,
the,
I
mean, you
guess.
have the money, but
We do got the money.
At what cost?
At what cost?
Honestly-
I had to murder someone for this.
Honestly, that was super sick. I thought that was hey, they were enemy gang. Fuck them.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, as a
no.
possible failure, just something that kind of could possibly stem into some difficulties we face forward,
Mhm.
is our departure from it actually got caught and transmitted like on news. It's like local terrorists attack our energy cell.
Well, we're
And-
definitely gonna get heat because an
Yeah.
entire
Well, 'cause-
energy warehouse blew
Well, with
up.
the way we made the storm seem like it was focusing on, it's like these terrorists harness the power of an act of God to
Mhm.
damage our city, endanger our power grid, hurting innocent people whenever they needed power the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, we're the baddies.
I'm watching
Fucking
We're not-
awesome.
I'm watching this anime right now called Terror and Resonance, and I'm glad that you brought up the terrorist thing because that.
Oh, Ted.
Mhm.
When I called Chang Ying in my flashback by myself without telling anyone else, would you say I addressed the challenge with calculation or conspiracy?
Yes.
I'd say
Yeah.
you did it again
And you did
when
it.
you.
Yeah, you did it twice. Yeah.
That's
Ah.
2 XP. And then Christian, you
Wait, what was the
did
second
address
one?
a challenge.
The second one was your flashback with the guy inside of the place, inside of
that's right,
inside of the
yes.
energy housing.
Christian, also when you
So-
hacked when you hacked the hacked Augustine, or at least
Oh, I
hacked
forgot
his
about
signal,
that, the
that totally
flashback.
counts.
I was like, I only hacked. I was like, I only did that once.
You also did the thing. I mean, you could count the thing where you repaired the
Yeah, but that's not
the
really
recovery
was my
system.
like due to my culture, my background. That was just me trying to figure stuff out.
But you
like-
you can still address a challenge with whatever
Whatever's
works for
contributing
a.
to your playbook. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's every time wait, at the end of where does challenges technology or quick thinking.
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay,
There you go. 2 XP for that.
okay, I'll take them. If y'all are so willing.
Oh, absolutely. Get your XP. Just trying to decide where I want to put mine. Should I boost over into Insight and then get another dot?
Are you at the point where you're going to get another dot?
Yeah.
Oh, because you trained. That's right.
I
How
trained.
close is everybody to being at their break point for stress?
I'm
I
at
have
I'm at
one away.
one. I'm at 1 box.
I'm at just
Cool.
8 total. I'm at 4.
Just balls deep in enemy territory with 1 stress box to burn. Nice.
But by the way, on the recap, I realized I missed it at the beginning, so I had to step away. I helped add a crash. So, I'm building a crash room, like a medical crash room in the
Oh,
ship.
yeah, that's right,
So we
that's
can bring
right.
on a doctor.
That's right. I remember that.
I'm working on
Oh
that.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Not into fruition yet. We're actively working on
God,
upgrading our
the
plane.
stress that y'all have, y'all
Nice.
need to build a rec room. Get some foosball tables going, some beanbags.
Some billiards.
You know, we should get some helicopters. Get a helicopter. That'd be great.
Yeah, we need to
As-
acquire some assets.
As we're walking out, I'm like, I have some ideas on the Fulton recovery system. Maybe it doesn't launch us up. Maybe just the balloon goes up.
Maybe we can come
We
to a
don't need to be up
consensus of what this thing does.
I think that would be great. That's an
Since
after
destroyed.
credit scene.
That's very
It's
funny.
like, why catch us in the air when we send it up? And you're like, and then just your character's like, that's not as fun.
You know, it was that kind of backwards logic that got my corporation. I'm not gonna go into details.
Cut to credits as we're limping away. Actually, we're not hurt. We're just wound up. We
Is
took no
that,
harm.
Yeah, no,
You
nobody
didn't take
took-
any harm.
No, nobody took
No,
any
I
harm.
almost did.
Just a shit ton of stress.
Teddy, I
I was
applaud you
hoping
for
we
not
did.
giving out harm because, as we know, harm is not always the way to go
It's the most
for
boring.
situations like
It's the
this.
most
It is the most boring.
It's the most boring.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Is that everybody's XP?
I
Yes,
just have to-
Okay.
I did end up deciding to put the rest of mine into my insight track, except for 1 point, which I put into playbook. So I have enough to boost one of my insight level related dots. So I'm going to look up how to do advancement.
Okay, cool.
But
I
I
think
don't.
you literally just add a dot to
I
what you
think-
want.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Just want to double check. Actually, I should probably do the crew advancement stuff too. Take an advance. When you. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll
Hey,
just.
does
put
our
another-
crew get experience separate, or do we have to choose
I
to put
believe
our
it-
experience
We
in a
do,
crew?
but I think that's after the score. No.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's like part of
It
getting.
does
payment
actually
and
say at the end of each it's player. No, wait, hold on. Where'd crew
At the end
advance
of
go?
each session,
Yeah, end of each session. So we can go ahead and I think we can go ahead and do it.
Okay,
The
go on.
crew. For each item below, the crew marks XP. Executes a successful extraction, espionage, sabotage, or theft operation.
We technically did do that. We also did that before. I don't know if I counted that correctly.
I would
from
not say
last
we
time.
executed a successful extraction. We're not called that successful.
Well, we successfully stole it.
Whether
Whether we
definitely
didn't extract yet, but we definitely did our thing.
Yeah.
And if you want to be technical, we did technically extract from the location we were at very quickly.
It all
Whether or
counts as
not we
part of
call
one,
it
I'd
successful.
Yeah, I don't
Are
know.
we alive?
I wouldn't say the extraction was successful. No, I think that was sort of like the climactic failure of the session was the extraction.
Did we?
Hey, was it failure or was it sabotage? Definitely, sabotage
Failure.
is one of the words
Got some big
on.
brain plans going on here. Okay.
Did we contend with challenges above our station?
Yes.
I'd say so.
Yeah,
And so we get an XP for that. Did we do it multiple times? Because if so, we get 2 XP instead. I think just one. I think just one for that.
Yeah, I think just one for that.
I think so.
Bolster
Yeah.
your crew's reputation or develop a new one.
I think.
I don't know,
yes,
Teddy. Are we
'cause
terrorists now?
I think possibly. Yeah, I think we're leaning towards y'all being terrorists.
Oh no. Although to be fair, I don't think we specifically did anything to bolster that.
No, I
Yeah,
think
but that might be us developing a new one.
Bolster doesn't
Okay.
necessarily have to be positive.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Kind of.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, our current rep is literally savvy, so we might be getting more of like we might be leaning a little more towards the we're savvy, but we're also like a little wild, a little stormy. You know.
Did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
I feel like we need to do some writing on what that means
Yeah.
for us.
I
as a
think we
crew.
need
Yeah.
to establish what our conflicts are, what our drives are. And I think we need to take some time on our character building and assign some of these things so we can exploit them better for XP going forward. Because right now
True.
we're not.
Yeah, it's a little vague.
We're just taking it as like, oh, well, we need to finish this task, rather than, okay, how would my character finish this task, and what can I do that would make it difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we still need to figure out a name for the crew, kind of like figure out our identity. But I feel like we're gonna figure that out through these scores and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. I marked 4 XP because I realized I didn't do an XP from the first session with the first score where we got the chip from that one guy. So I think that brings us to a total of 4 XP on the crew track.
Okay. That works for me.
Cool.
I'm
And
gonna
then
float the possible name of the Terrors,
The terrors.
Flying Terrors.
maybe I was kind of thinking something storm related since we our first job is based around this storm.
Terror Storm. The
Terror storm.
You are the
Sounds like
terror storm.
That sounds like a PS2 ass fucking Afghan war era third person shooter. Terror storm. SOCOM 4 Terror Storm.
Another military operation in the desert. Something like something to do with electricity or
I like the idea of it
Jewels.
having something to do with the that sort of firestorm that kind of lashed out, but I feel like that's the complete opposite of the group's savvy reputation. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Something to do with how you how you endure the storm. It's something to do with that. I feel like that's an important we floated through the storm. It battered us, but we somehow survived. It kind of like the way a ship does.
Yeah.
There's something there.
I like Tempest, but
Tempest?
I like the word Tempest being a part of it. That's a good word.
Cool.
That's from my time I was reincarnated as a slime.
Ah, that old show.
That's right. That's
Tempest.
right. Tempest.
Obviously, it's not from that. It's a word, but
It's
That was my
yeah. That's where Tempest is from. That one time I got Isekai anime just comes up with words, man.
It really does. Literally entire titles of words. that just...
Entire titles of words.
I'm so happy they invited Spider because I didn't know or invented Spider because I didn't know what to call a creature in my room until that time I got reincarnated as a spider.
What's the name of that show? That's the one with the girls in the spider in the dungeon. I don't know.
That time I got reincarnated as a spider.
Is it really called That Time I Got Reincarnated?
No,
as a
it's
Spider?
so what? I'm a spider.
So what?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a spider. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Okay, this is kind of edgy, and it's a G.I. Joe villain name, but Storm Shadow?
No, I don't. Like
Okay.
Damn, Storm Shadow's not bad though.
Storm Shadow is... Oh, well, that's true. Technically, in the lore of G.I. Joe, he's not a bad guy. He's just on the other side of the conflict, which is
In the lore of G.I.
It's just that
Joe.
he just has a thing against Snake Eyes.
David's
Yeah,
over
it's
here
a-
moderating the G.I. Joe wiki.
Yeah, no, I have like half those articles are me.
Fuck yeah.
Turns
Alright,
out the entire
I
G.I. Joe
I think we can sit on it until the next
Yeah.
session.
Sounds cool. I'll make some notes that like something related to storms and something like that would be cool.
I'll put some thought on it.
How about
I
the
also put-
how about the winged tempest, but winged pronounced like in the old English way, like winged.
Winged.
Winged Tempest.
Winged Tempest.
I
The
don't
album
really-
sounds like Wicked Tempest.
The wicked
really hate-
tempest. Fuck yeah.
I kind of like that one,
Wicked.
unironically.
The Wicked Tempest sounds like the other band that Bill and Ted would have come up with.
Wicked Tempest. I want to write it down.
The Wombo Tempest. The Wizard Tempest. Fuck yeah.
All right,
Jules.
I gotta go.
Oh, dang, we could have named the ship the Wicked Temptress.
What about the Wicked Temptress would be a fucking awesome ship name.
We can always change the name.
Ooh, what
No,
about the
it's just spray paint.
what about the Tempest Witches?
Tempest
Oh, I
Witch.
kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like what do you call them? Like the
the
Night
Night
Witches from. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
We're the witches.
Anyway, we can think on it. All right, I think that's enough.
We'll think on it.
We're good.
We'll think on it.
Everybody think on that one. All right.
Sounds good. Good night, everybody. Had fun.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.